Chapter 1274. What's going on? The people outside were all shocked. Even some devil kings could see some clues. How could an existence like Huang Shatian not be able to? Also, what kind of ability was that of Qin Wentian? Interesting. The devil emperor laughed. We can see it clearly from the outside, but those two fellows are fighting in close combat. That dark space is Qin Wentian's law domain. We can't sense it, but Huang Shatian is trapped within. In that case, that dark space isn't the power of devilization? A devil king frowned. The devilization is merely a method to fool Huang Shatian. If I didn't guess wrongly, there should be dream force hidden within. He is creating dreams for Huang Shatian, and it's very possible that Huang Shatian doesn't know about this ability of his. If not, given his powerful will, he would still be able to break free. The fallen devil emperor laughed. The old Xia devil king who was at the side frowned. This old friend of his seemed to admire Qin Wentian a lot. In the end, it's still a heretical path. The old Xia devil king calmly spoke. This attack of his isn't weak at all. The devil emperor stared at the battlefield. The terrifying darkness was similar to what happened back then in the Sacred Academy, engulfing Huang Shatian within. The people outside couldn't hear it, but Qin Wentian could hear intense rumbling sounds coming from within. The 9 human emperors transformed into 9 beams of light and shot into the vortex as resplendent golden ancient emperor wills gushed forth. Qin Wentian's countenance sank. After which, he stepped out, stepping into the vortex as well. In that instant, a heaven-shaking rumbling sound rang out as a black hurricane manifested, shaking the heavens and earth. It was as though a terrifying devil dragon of darkness had appeared in the sky, only to be torn apart and destroyed in an instant. At this moment, a heaven-splitting light flashed. Cracks appeared on the world-destroying vortex of darkness. As the blazing light grew brighter and brighter, the world-destroying darkness was completely torn apart. With a thunderous rumble, everything shattered. A figure was forced backwards. It was none other than the devil-transformed Qin Wentian. His entire body was still enveloped by a terrifying destructive might, but drops of blood dripped from his body. In the darkness, the color of his blood was exceptionally bright. Huang Shatian stood there, his aura fluctuating. The human emperor light around him dimmed, no longer as resplendent as before. Only his eyes were as sharp as ever, sharper than swords, staring fixedly at Qin Wentian's silhouette. The atmosphere seemed to have solidified. The two of them no longer made any moves. The devilized Qin Wentian exhaled a thick and heavy breath. His eyes were like that of a demon, completely different from the Qin Wentian who was avoiding battle earlier. For the sake of victory, he was willing to do anything. Qin Wentian was confident. He believed that after his strength increased and stepped into the immortal king realm, if he encountered Huang Shatian again, he would definitely be able to defeat his opponent if he went all out. However, he clearly underestimated Huang Shatian's transformation. Compared to back then when he was in the Sacred Academy, Huang Shatian was much stronger. Huang Shatian was similarly confident and arrogant. He said before that if he didn't have the confidence to kill Qin Wentian, he wouldn't act. Clearly, as a supreme genius of the immortal realms, he had undergone a transformation and had absolute confidence in himself. However, he had also underestimated his opponent. Cough cough, a cough broke the silence. Huang Shatian coughed as blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. He suddenly laughed as he shook his head lightly. Although he was injured, he still stood straight and upright. Ultimately, I still wasn't able to kill you. Seems like the battle between us will continue. I wonder if the myriad devil islands will be your burial ground or mine. Huang Shatian's words were as cold as the edge of a blade. He respected such an opponent, but his killing intent wouldn't change. If he wanted to advance further, he had to surpass this opponent. Qin Wentian's aura fluctuated as the devil might radiating from him gradually faded away. His handsome and devilish countenance was now pale. He didn't say anything. He was also extremely weak right now. After the battle in the Sacred Academy, in the myriad devil islands, he still had no way to defeat Huang Shatian. A character at the peak of immortal foundation in the immortal realms, after obtaining the inheritance of the 9 emperors' immortal state, how could he be ordinary? Has it ended? The spectators in the outside world silently mused as they watched this battle. Ultimately, neither of them could defeat their opponent. Both of them were already sufficiently strong and proud enough. Yen Yurua and Exain Yu finally set their hearts at ease. When they saw how terrifying Huang Shatian was, they were indeed worried that Qin Wentian would be killed in this battle. Luckily, Qin Wentian was also powerful to the extreme. They had never seen such a powerful Devil Foundation character before. From their impression, this should be the strength of Devil Kings. The Devil Cultivators were also deeply shocked by the battle between the two of them. They only felt an intense baptism to their souls. So it turned out that the talent they were so proud of was actually so weak. In front of the two of them, they were so insignificant. If these two were their enemies, only death awaited them. There were only about 100 people left in the burial canyon. The number of people still fighting was even lesser. The Devil Emperor glanced at the battlefield and drank 2 cups of wine. He then smiled, since there's no more fighting, let's end it here. Right. A Devil King subordinate of the Devil Emperor spoke, let's open the battlefield. An instant later, an incomparably terrifying light radiated from the battlefield. The people inside all inclined their heads. They knew that the battle had ended. The Devil Emperor already had a candidate in his heart. For this Devil Horde battle, it wasn't necessary to determine the victor. In truth, it was only for the sake of displaying their strength during the Devil Emperor's birthday celebration. Such an opportunity might be hard to come by, but to the Devil Emperor, it didn't matter. When the light screen opened, the spatial formation dissipated. They discovered that they were now standing in the air above the battlefield, their auras were all retracted. After that, they inclined their heads and stared in the direction of the Devil Emperor. Many experts all bowed to him as a sign of respect. Not bad. The fallen Devil Emperor smiled and nodded. Being able to see the glory of the juniors during the birthday celebration is truly a delightful thing. In addition, I'm sure many of the major powers on my fallen Devil Island will have more talented juniors joining them. Your Majesty is praising these little fellows too much. The Devil Kings laughed. They are truly not bad. In addition, under such a difficult battle, it's even rarer to be able to control themselves and not rely on divine weapons to fight. The Devil Emperor laughed. The gazes of many turned to Huang Shatian and Qin Wentian. Both of them had powerful divine weapons, but in that soul-stirring battle, they all consciously controlled themselves and didn't use the power of their divine weapons to launch sneak attacks. This was a true martial spirit. Similarly, this was also a form of respect to their opponents. Everyone, who do you think the top 10 belong to? The Devil Emperor smiled as he asked the crowd. His words caused the expressions of the crowd to turn heavy as they stared at those experts who were still standing on the battle platforms. As for those two who are fighting, Huang Shatian and Qin Wentian, they should naturally occupy 2 spots. A Devil King laughed. Also, Old Chai and his opponent, I wonder what their names are. They should occupy 2 spots as well. Another Devil King spoke. On the platform, Duan Qianshan spoke, Junior Duan Qianshan. Okay, in that case, let's settle these 4 first. The Devil Emperor nodded. The 4 of them had already been confirmed. Xia Yuan should have a spot. A Devil King spoke. The expression of the old Xia Devil King was very calm. He didn't recommend Xia Yuan. Xia Yuan was a peak ranker on the Devil rankings, his brilliance wasn't that dazzling in this battle. Xia Yuan should have a spot. The Devil Emperor nodded. As for the other 3 beside Qin Wentian, they are all fine. The Blackstone Devil King spoke, his words causing the expressions of everyone to turn solemn. 3 at the same time. In that case, Qin Wentian, Duan Qianshan, Qi De, Nanfeng Ruoxuan and Mo Zian, that would already be a total of 5. Their previous opponents, the White Tiger and the Swordsman, can each take a spot. Someone spoke. These two were none other than the White Tiger people and an expert from the Supreme Sword School. These people were all peak-level Immortal Foundation characters chosen by the Immortal Realms to participate in the adjudication battle. Naturally, they would be extremely outstanding on this battlefield. Many people had expressions of interest on their faces. Among these 10, there were actually quite a few who were immortal cultivators. Fine, let's settle on these 10 then. The Devil Emperor nodded his head, causing the other experts to have looks of disappointment on their faces. As for the others, they are all outstanding juniors and I believe they will have their own good fortune. There's no need to be too concerned about them. The Devil Emperor smiled. They bowed and retreated from the battlefield. There were only 10 people left on the floating battle platform, attracting everyone's attention. The third princess Yan Yurua stared at Qin Wentian's silhouette as she felt extremely excited. A faint smile could be seen on her face. This fellow was going to be in the limelight this time around. Her elder sister Yan Yusen had a look of disappointment on her face, she didn't know what to feel in her heart. The Blackstone Devil King and Xianyu were also feeling happy for Qin Wentian. Not only would Qin Wentian be in the limelight, he should be able to become one of the 3 chosen by the Devil Emperor. In fact, he would even be able to make a request to the Devil Emperor. During the birthday banquet, as long as the request wasn't too overboard, the Devil Emperor would usually agree to it. Next, who do you guys think should be rewarded? The Devil Emperor smiled as he asked the people in the surroundings. The people around Qin Wentian, that White Tiger and the Sword Cultivator should be rewarded. A Devil King laughed. MOG, what do you think? The Devil Emperor smiled at MOG who was beside him. Whoever you think should be rewarded will naturally be rewarded. MOG smiled, she didn't express her opinion. Old Xia, what do you think? The Devil Emperor smiled at the Old Xia Devil King. The people around Qin Wentian have all displayed powerful combat prowess and should be rewarded. Also for Qin Wentian, although he borrowed the power of some secret arts during his battle against Huang Shatian, his combat prowess is extraordinary. He should be the one most deserving of the reward. The Old Xia Devil King spoke, his words causing the gazes of many experts to freeze. Qin Wentian, the one most deserving of the reward? Although his words seemed to be praising Qin Wentian, who wouldn't understand the meaning behind it. Chapter 1275. Out of the 10 chosen participants, 7 of them would receive a reward and 3 of them would be able to make a request to the Devil Emperor. Clearly, the number of those 3 chosen was even lesser. They were the final victors. Also, this Old Xia Devil King seemed to be flattering Qin Wentian, saying that Qin Wentian was the one who deserved a reward the most. Didn't this mean that Qin Wentian deserved a reward from the Devil Emperor? In that case, he would have no fate with the other 3. Many Devil Kings laughed but didn't say anything. No matter how outstanding Qin Wentian's performance was, it ultimately had nothing to do with them. Clearly, they wouldn't offend Old Xia Devil King for the sake of Qin Wentian. On the platform, Qin Wentian's brows furrowed. Regardless of him or Huang Shatian, they came to the Myriad Devil Islands for one thing, and that was the adjudication battle. This was a battle they had to win no matter what methods they used. One could say that the adjudication battle was another competition apart from their own battles. It was no longer a pure clash of strength, but rather, it was a display of innate techniques. He and Huang Shatian were both participating in the Devil Emperor's birthday celebration for the sake of victory in the adjudication battle. Both of them wanted to make a request to the Devil Emperor. If the other 3 chose Huang Shatian instead of him, even if they fought to a draw with Huang Shatian, it would only be a draw between the 2 of them. To the entire adjudication battle, it would be a calamity. This Old Xia Devil King was simply too detestable. Huang Shatian came to the fallen Devil Island in advance and directly used the Old Xia Devil King's body. It was unknown what methods he used. Huang Shatian fought to a draw with Qin Wentian. Even if he borrowed the power of a secret art, wouldn't it be based on his own strength as well? In addition, Qin Wentian's cultivation base is lower compared to Huang Shatian. Being able to fight to such an extent, who can say who would be the victor between the 2 of them? I feel that these two should be two of the top three. The Blackstone Devil King calmly spoke. His voice was light, but there was no doubt that he was refuting the words of the old Xia Devil King. No matter how one looked at it, old Xia Devil King's stance wasn't fair. Even if he sided with Huang Shatian, he shouldn't be able to deny Qin Wentian, right? Of course, all the demon kings present could see this. What sort of character was the Devil Emperor? How could he not know that the old Xia Devil King was biased towards Huang Shatian? One was an old friend who had gone through life and death with him, the other was a junior with outstanding talent. There was basically no need to consider which side to choose. However, the problem was that if the Devil Emperor sided with the old Xia Devil King, not only would it be unfair to Qin Wentian, it would also damage his prestige as the Devil Emperor. The old Xia Devil King should understand this point as well, yet he still said this. There was a deeper meaning behind his words. At the location where the Devil Emperor was at, it was extremely quiet. It all depended on whether the Devil Emperor would give face to the old Xia Devil King or not. The Devil Emperor turned his gaze to the old Xia Devil King as a faint smile appeared on his face. Old Xia, who do you think should get the 3 quotas? Huang Shatian, Old Chai, and Xia Yuan. I feel that the 3 of them aren't bad. As for the others, they can all be rewarded. The old Xia Devil King stared at the Devil Emperor as a deep intent flashed in his eyes. He knew that if he wanted his old friend to give face to him, it would make things difficult for the Devil Emperor. But since they had gone through life and death with each other, he believed that this old friend of his would be able to understand him. When Qin Wentian heard the words of the old Xia Devil King, his eyes turned exceptionally cold. He then transmitted his voice to Huang Shatian, seems like he doesn't simply regard you as important. I have no choice but to admire your strength. There will still be battles between us in the future. However, for this adjudication battle, it won't be decided based on our strength alone. I will naturally use all my methods to obtain victory for this adjudication battle. Huang Shatian calmly transmitted his voice back to Qin Wentian. The adjudication battle wasn't merely a personal battle between them. The adjudication battle has just begun. Qin Wentian closed his eyes and drew in a deep breath. If Huang Shatian obtained the 3 quotas, his request would definitely be the same as his. He wanted the Devil Emperor to give the order to search for the experts sent to the myriad Devil Islands. At that time, it would truly be a calamity for them. The Devil Emperor gave the order for the controllers of the millions of islands in the fallen Devil region to search for them. Let's wait and see then. Huang Shatian calmly replied. Everyone turned to the Devil Emperor and the old Xia Devil King. Seems like this old Xia Devil King was determined to get the Devil Emperor to give him face. Xia Yuan. The Blackstone Devil King was somewhat unconvinced. Qin Wentian and Huang Shatian fought to a draw. Old Chai and Duan Qianshan were in a stalemate. Huang Shatian and Old Chai obtained 3 quotas, but Qin Wentian and Duan Qianshan didn't. Instead, Xia Yuan got the quota. Senior Xia, this doesn't seem logical, right? Impudent. What qualifications do you have to speak here? The old Xia Devil King turned his head and glanced at the Blackstone Devil King, his gaze extremely sharp. In this place, how could a mere Devil King under the command of the Devil Emperor have the qualifications to speak? Who was he? He was someone who had a life-and-death friendship with the Devil Emperor. The expression of the Blackstone Devil King turned ugly, but he had nothing to say. In such a situation, his words truly had no weight at all. Senior Xia's words are logical. Qin Wentian relied on a secret art, while Duan Qianshan is an immortal. Since this is the birthday celebration of the Devil Emperor, devil cultivators should be the most respected. Old Chai and Xia Yuan are both devil cultivators of our fallen Devil Island, and their strength is also at the peak. They naturally won't be selected. At this moment, an expert interjected, causing the countenance of the Blackstone Devil King to turn even more unsightly. The person who spoke was none other than the Black Jiao Devil King. Enough, there's no need to argue. The purpose of this competition is to liven up the atmosphere. All the geniuses here are all very outstanding, there's no difference in who gets the rewards or requests. The Devil Emperor calmly spoke, causing everyone to shut up. After that, the Devil Emperor lifted his wine cup and smiled, let's toast to all the geniuses of the younger generations. The Devil Emperor is wise. All the experts raised their cups and drank. The Devil Emperor was right, this competition was ultimately just a celebration of the Devil Emperor's birthday. The Devil Emperor could choose whatever he wanted to. Other than those from the major powers staring at a portion of the geniuses, in truth, they were merely trying to win the Devil Emperor's favor. The Devil Emperor could do whatever he wanted. No matter how outstanding Qin Wentian's talent was, he was merely a junior at the Devil Foundation realm. Putting down his wine cup, the Devil Emperor smiled, let's do as old Xia suggested. Huang Shatian, Old Chai, and Xia Yuan can make a request to me. As for the other 7, they will be rewarded. The expressions of everyone froze. Ultimately, the Devil Emperor still gave face to the old Xia Devil King. After all, they were once friends of life and death. It was rare for the old Xia Devil King to give face and insist on this matter. The fallen Devil Emperor could only choose to wrong Qin Wentian. The Devil Emperor is wise. All the Devil Kings spoke in unison. The Devil Emperor is wise. Countless devil cultivators spoke, congratulating the Devil Emperor for his decision. No matter what decision the Devil Emperor made, it was naturally wise because he was the Devil Emperor. The Devil Emperor is wise. Qin Wentian closed his eyes before opening them again. His aura fluctuated and the people around him all had cold looks in their eyes, as though they were filled with reluctance. What was the Devil Emperor's decision based on? Based on? He was the Devil Emperor and this place was his territory. The Devil Emperor naturally had the qualifications to decide everything, who could obtain the rewards and who could make a request to him. A deep smile appeared in the eyes of the old Xia Devil King. He glanced at Qin Wentian, he didn't have any prejudice towards Qin Wentian. As to why he was so insistent, it was naturally because of the benefits involved. This isn't fair. The third Princess Yen Yurua spoke from the crowd. However, the people in the surroundings merely glanced at her. Who would care about a mere third princess? Even her father, the Blackstone Devil King, didn't have any authority to speak. Who could doubt the Devil Emperor's decision? The 3 of you, what requests do you have? You can state them now. The Devil Emperor stared at Huang Shatian and the other 2. Senior Devil Emperor, this old man only wishes to step into the Devil King realm. I have no other requests. Old Chai spoke. He should be thanking the old Xia Devil King. Unknowingly, the old Xia Devil King had helped him, pushing him up to the top. If not, old Chai understood that his slot would have already belonged to Qin Wentian. I wish for the Devil Emperor to guide Junior in my cultivation. Xia Yuan spoke, his words causing the eyes of everyone to flash. This Xia Yuan was extremely intelligent, this request clearly indicated that he wanted to become a disciple of the Devil Emperor. Even if the Devil Emperor didn't accept him as a disciple, he wouldn't reject this request and could still be considered half a disciple. Also, leaving aside the status of half a disciple, the guidance of the Devil Emperor would naturally be extraordinary as well. As for old Chai's request, everyone had long guessed it. Everyone on the fallen Devil Island knew how badly old Chai wanted to take that step. Wanting to step into the Devil King realm ultimately isn't something that can be achieved with external help. Old Chai, you have already reached the Devil Foundation realm, this is the limit you can reach. Next, you still need an opportunity. Stay in the Devil Palace and let me try. If you fail, don't blame me. The Devil Emperor calmly spoke. Many thanks for the Devil Emperor's help. Old Chai bowed. Xia Yuan, there's no problem with your request. The Devil Emperor nodded lightly. Thank you, Devil Emperor. Xia Yuan bowed. What about you? The Devil Emperor glanced at Huang Shatian. I need Senior Devil Emperor to give the order to search for some people in the fallen Devil region for me. Huang Shatian spoke. Sure. The Devil Emperor nodded. This was just an order. Huang Shaishan's request was very simple. Thank you, Devil Emperor. Junior might be so bold as to ask, if you find them, can you send them to me? Huang Shatian spoke again. This is already the second request. The Devil Emperor laughed. Huang Shatian bowed. Junior understands. As for the other 7, grant them their titles. The Devil Emperor smiled. After that, 7 beautiful maidens held the rewards in their hands as they floated towards the battle platform. The White Tiger people and the experts from the Supreme Sword School all accepted the rewards and thanked the Devil Emperor. Before Qin Wentian, Qi De, Duan Qianshan, Nanfeng Ruoxuan and Mo Zian, the 5 maidens all received the rewards from the Devil Emperor with smiles on their faces. However, Qin Wentian didn't stretch his hands out to receive it. The others didn't do so as well. Clearly, the 5 of them were unwilling to accept it. Hence, with regards to the rewards from the Devil Emperor, they all had the heart to reject it. This scene caused the gazes of countless people to freeze as they stared at the 5 of them. What did this mean? Junior came here to congratulate Senior Devil Emperor on his birthday, but I didn't dare to hope for any rewards. Since I have not contributed to the Devil Emperor, I don't dare to accept the rewards. Qin Wentian spoke, causing everyone to be shocked. Qin Wentian rejected the rewards from the Devil Emperor. Chapter 1276. During the birthday celebration of the Devil Emperor, it was a tradition and an honor. Qin Wentian said that he didn't have any contributions to the Devil Emperor and didn't dare to accept it. This undoubtedly meant that he didn't give the Devil Emperor any face. In this vast area, the atmosphere was extremely tense. Rejecting the glory bestowed by the Devil Emperor was something that had never happened before. But today, it actually happened. Even the gaze of the Blackstone Devil King froze there. He stared at Qin Wentian, sweating profusely for this fellow. Wasn't this brat a little too crazy? Even if he was unhappy with the decision of the Devil Emperor, he shouldn't have retaliated in front of everyone. He was the Devil Emperor. So what if your talent is outstanding? You are merely a junior. If the Devil Emperor wanted to squash you to death, just a single word from him would be as simple as squashing an ant. Let alone the Devil Emperor, even if there were many Devil Kings here, they could easily kill Qin Wentian. Sir Qin. Xin Yu's expression instantly turned nervous. She was also worried for Qin Wentian. Not long ago, she was still feeling proud and honored for Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian displayed such combat prowess and obtained the honor bestowed by the Devil Emperor. But in the blink of an eye, he actually fell into such a situation. Truly, the world was ever-changing. The one who started all of this was naturally the old Xia Devil King. But who would dare to say anything? After all, the decision was still made by the Devil Emperor. Even if Qin Wentian was unhappy, he should at least temporarily endure it. After today, the major powers on the fallen Devil Island would be his to choose. Now that he rejected the reward, how would there be a place for him to stay on the fallen Devil Island? Yan Yurua clenched her fists tightly, silently cursing that fellow for being so impulsive. Even Huang Shatian turned his gaze over, staring at Qin Wentian with some astonishment. This fellow was truly arrogant, directly rejecting the reward of the Devil Emperor. If he was in Qin Wentian's shoes, he would also make the same choice as Qin Wentian, rejecting the rewards. This was how they were. However, Huang Shatian didn't feel the slightest bit guilty. The judgment battle depended on one's own means. Apart from defeating Qin Wentian, which was his obsession, he also needed to win the judgment battle. We haven't made any contributions, so we don't dare to accept the title either. Qi De and the others spoke, rejecting the Devil Emperor's reward in unison. The atmosphere in the vast space grew even tenser. Because of the silence, it seemed oppressive. Many people turned to look at the Demon Emperor. How impudent! The expression of the old Xia Devil King was like ice as he spoke. Are you guys questioning the decision of the Devil Emperor? How audacious! Qin Wentian furrowed his brows. After the battle with Huang Shatian, regardless of him or Huang Shatian, both of them were still in a weakened state. He also knew that rejecting the Devil Emperor would only be disadvantageous to them. But sometimes, the stubbornness of humans wouldn't be controlled by logic. Because, humans had pride. If he was defeated, if he was truly inferior to old Chai and Xia Yuan, he would naturally have nothing to say. But given the obvious situation, even a blind man could see it. If he wanted him to accept the so-called reward, he wouldn't be able to do it. No matter what, Senior is a Devil King powerhouse, yet you actually spat out such filthy words. How disappointing. We came here to participate in this battle to celebrate the Devil Emperor's birthday. We're upright, and we don't deserve a reward if we don't do anything. We don't think that there's any reason for the Devil Emperor to reward us. But in Senior's mouth, it became a dog's guts. Dare I ask, is this the bearing of a highly respected senior? Qin Wentian calmly spoke in a tone that was neither servile nor overbearing. A cold light flashed in the eyes of the old Xia Devil King. Because for this matter, he was the one who incited the Devil Emperor to make this decision. Hence, Qin Wentian's questioning and rejection of the conferment was akin to smacking his face, causing him to be unsightly. Hence, he was angry. Enough, you guys naturally have the right to choose. You guys can leave now. At this moment, the Devil Emperor spoke. The female on the floating platform retreated. The expression of the old Xia Devil King was like ice. But since the Devil Emperor has spoken, he naturally wouldn't say anything else. Everyone return to your seats. The Devil Emperor spoke. He and the old Xia Devil King had a friendship of life and death. However, this matter wasn't handled beautifully. It was inevitable for young people to have some personality. He wouldn't really be angered by Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian and the other 9 participants walked down the platform and returned to their respective seats. Qin Wentian walked to his seat while Huang Shatian sat beside him. They didn't seem like mortal enemies at all. Xinyu's soft body burrowed into Qin Wentian's embrace as she gently transmitted her voice, "Sir, why must you place yourself in such a situation?" Although the Devil Emperor wasn't angered, the people below would be able to guess his intentions. Let alone the fact that Sir displayed such extraordinary capabilities and obtained the support of so many people in the battlefield. This would only put you in an extremely disadvantageous position. Qin Wentian stared at the beauty in his embrace as he listened to the Devil Kings chatting and laughing. Many of them praised Huang Shatian, there were also some who praised old Chai and Xia Yuan. Only he, Qin Wentian, seemed to have become transparent and was ignored. Clearly, to these Devil Kings, no matter how outstanding his talent was, how could it be compared to the attitude of the Devil Emperor? As the saying goes, the fickleness of human emotions. When one was at his peak, he would naturally have friends everywhere. But when one was at his peak, one would naturally see the hearts of others. Let alone the fact that he had no friendship with these Devil Kings. However, what made Qin Wentian a little taken aback was that although the beauty in his embrace was half a prostitute, she still didn't avoid him and was still very close to him. Although this attitude was ambiguous and inappropriate, how could it not cause people to feel warmth in their hearts? Since your heart is as clear as a mirror and can see through everything, why is there a need for you to be so close to me? You should stay far away from me instead. Qin Wentian transmitted his voice in a low voice. Xinu originally has nothing, could it be that there would still be people who would vent their anger on me because of Sir? In addition, Sir's promise in the past, Xinu had some doubts about it. But now that I've seen Sir's true character, I feel gratitude in my heart. The first time we met, Sir is actually willing to redeem Xinu's freedom. How can I not be filled with gratitude? Qin Wentian bitterly smiled and shook his head, sighing in his heart. He then continued, Xinu, how about you help me do something? Sir, please instruct me. Xinu replied. I need to know if there are any powerful devil regions in the surroundings of the fallen devil region. It would be best if they are stronger than the fallen devil region. In addition, I need to use the teleportation array in the fallen devil region to head there. Qin Wentian transmitted his voice. Right now, Huang Shatian was a step ahead of him. He naturally wouldn't sit still and wait for death, waiting for the fallen devil emperor to give the order to find the person he and Huang Shatian wanted to find. I've heard the lodge lord say that there are. It's just that I'm not very clear about the specifics. After all, I've never understood the devil regions outside. However, I can help sir to gather some information. Xinu replied. Okay. Qin Wendian transmitted his voice in reply. After that, Xinu only felt Qin Wendian grabbing her hand. Her hand trembled slightly as an interspatial ring appeared in her palm. The things inside are sufficient for you to redeem yourself. I don't need you to be my maid and serve me. If you are willing, you can find an opportunity to leave the Celestial Devil Lodge. Qin Wendian calmly spoke. Xinu inclined her head, her beautiful eyes staring at Qin Wendian. Don't reject me. Qin Wendian laughed as he continued to transmit his voiceover. Xinu nodded her head lightly, she didn't say any words of thanks. From afar, the devilish female gritted her teeth in hatred when she saw how intimate the two of them were. She cursed in her heart, what time is this already? He still has the mood to flirt. This bastard. However, Yan Yurua's heart was also filled with sourness. She hoped that she could be by Qin Wendian's side to accompany him. Today, the mental blow to him would definitely not be small. Also, she didn't know what would be waiting for him next. After that, the banquet was naturally filled with joy. However, Qin Wendian seemed somewhat out of place. He had his eyes closed and was resting. Beside him, Huang Shatian was the same as well. His eyes were closed, as though he was cultivating. Only until the Devil Emperor gave the order to end the banquet did Huang Shatian stand up and leave with the Devil Emperor. Most probably, he was preparing to tell the Devil Emperor who he was looking for. Old Chai and Xia Yuan also left with the Devil Emperor. The experts in the banquet all stood up one after another. Many powerful devil sects started to send invitations to some of the more outstanding wuxiu. However, although Qin Wendian and Duan Qianshan were outstanding, no one invited them. For people who didn't give face to the Devil Emperor, who would dare to invite them? No matter how outstanding their talent was, this place was the Fallen Devil Island, a place governed by the Devil Emperor. The Devil Kings all knew that it was very difficult for the Fallen Devil Island to contain Qin Wendian and the others. They might only have a path of death. Qin Wendian, leave the Fallen Devil Island immediately. The Blackstone Devil King transmitted his voice to Qin Wendian. Qin Wendian's performance during the battle was too dazzling. He was personally appointed by the Devil Emperor and initially, no one would dare to touch him. However, he rejected the reward from the Devil Emperor. The meaning behind this wasn't as simple as rejecting the reward from the Devil Emperor. In fact, it could even be said that he was courting death. Qin Wendian frowned. Seems like the situation was more serious than he had imagined. Xinu, can you help me settle this matter as fast as possible? Qin Wendian transmitted his voice to Xinu. I'll go and beg the Lodge Lord. Xinu replied. Lodge Lord, she will help you. Qin Wendian frowned. Lodge Lord, she isn't as simple as you think. She isn't an ordinary person. Xinu spoke. Qin Wendian naturally understood that for a power like the Celestial Devil Lodge to be able to establish it, how could it be simple? Go ahead then. Qin Wendian nodded. Xinu left his side and headed towards the Lodge Lord's direction. At this moment, another female walked over to Qin Wendian's side, glaring at him in anger. Who made Third Princess angry? Qin Wendian smiled as he asked. The anger on the devilish female's face instantly vanished, replaced by a beautiful smile. She walked over and leaned against Qin Wendian as she spoke in a gentle voice. Could it be that you feel that I'm not as beautiful as that vixen? The people in the surroundings stared at Qin Wendian. This fellow, his luck with women truly wasn't bad. Qin Wendian had a face filled with black lines. This devilish female. Third Princess, stop messing around. The Devil King transmitted his voice to me, telling me to leave immediately. It's naturally impossible for me to return to the Blackstone Devil Island. In the future, please take care of yourself. If you have the heart, please help me take care of that last Jiyu. Qin Wendian transmitted his voice to the devilish female. Yan Yurua's beautiful eyes flashed as she stared at Qin Wendian in a daze. Was he going to leave? What if I leave together with you? The devilish female asked. Third princess, are you not afraid that the Devil King will kill me? Qin Wendian speechlessly spoke. In addition, I already have a wife. Third princess will naturally have a good husband in the future. Chapter 1277. Abandoning me after toying with me? You are shameless. The devilish female stared at Qin Wendian with a wronged expression. The people around her all cast looks of disdain at Qin Wendian. This fellow, relying on his talent to toy with beauties, how shameless. Qin Wendian's face was filled with black lines. This devilish female, he was simply speechless. Who was the one toying with who exactly? Naturally, Qin Wendian felt warmth in his heart. This devilish female must be doing this to ease his emotions. Many experts left this place and not long after, Xianyu returned. The devilish female hugged Qin Wendian's arm, smiling at Xianyu as though she was provoking her. Sir Qin, Xianyu has already inquired about it. Xianyu didn't really mind the devilish female. She originally didn't have any relationship with Qin Wendian. Why would she have any thoughts of jealousy? Qin Wendian's eyes flashed. After that, a strand of will light shot out from the center of Xianyu's brows, seeping into Qin Wendian. Qin Wendian opened up his sea of consciousness to receive it as some information flowed in. The vast Sky Devil Emperor, the vast Sky Devil region is truly tyrannical. Qin Wendian silently mused. After that, he turned to Xianyu and spoke, Xianyu, many thanks. Sir Qin, there's no need to be so polite. Xianyu's voice was gentle as she transmitted her voiceover. Let's move out. The Fallen Devil Island is the central area of the Fallen Devil region and there are teleportation arrays that lead to other devil regions. Let me bring you to the teleportation array on the Fallen Devil Island. Mitchum, let's go. Qin Wendian stood up. The devilish female pulled his arm and stood up as well, leaning on him. Third princess. Qin Wendian stared at the wronged look on the devilish female's face. He couldn't help but to turn and speak to her, the Devil King is still waiting for you. Let's return. Do you really intend to abandon me like this? The devilish female glared at Qin Wendian, causing Qin Wendian to sigh in his heart. In the past, the devilish female was only interested in him. But now, it seemed like she had truly fallen in love with him. Qin Wendian cupped the devilish female's face and smiled, didn't you say that my guts are very small? Today, your subordinate's guts shall grow for once. As he spoke, Qin Wendian leaned forward and lightly planted a kiss on the forehead of the third princess. The beautiful eyes of the third princess flashed, but after that, she felt that pair of warm palms moving away. Qin Wendian had already started walking forward. The people around him, as well as Xianyu, all followed after him. If anything happens to you, this princess will definitely not spare you. This princess commands you to come to the Devil Island to pay a visit to this princess in the future. Princess, this princess, I will. With you, this princess, I, you, I, you, Qin, you, Qin, you. I said. At this moment, the devilish female only felt a hand resting on her shoulder. Turning her head, the devilish female saw the Blackstone Devil King. At this moment, the devilish female only felt a hand resting on her shoulder. Turning her head, she saw the Blackstone Devil King. Just let it go. He is destined to be the dragon of darkness that soars through the horizons. He isn't someone you can capture. The Blackstone Devil King spoke in a light voice. The eyes of the devilish female turned even redder. She stared at her father, but, it wasn't easy for this princess to fall in love with a man. If he were to leave just like that, this princess wouldn't be able to accept this. Silly lass. The Blackstone Devil King rubbed her head, not knowing how to console her. After Qin Wentian and the others left the Devil King Palace, they directly flew on their flying swords. The demon's sword transformed into a gigantic sword as the shadow of a great rock appeared beneath it. It was as though this sword was transformed from a great rock and was as fast as lightning, speeding towards a certain direction. The teleportation arrays on the fallen Devil Island that lead to the other Devil regions were all controlled by different Supreme Devil sections. They were all independent Devil sects, and by using the teleportation arrays, they would be able to earn bountiful rewards. Every time they used the teleportation arrays, the price would be exorbitant. Ordinary Devil cultivators wouldn't be able to afford it. Only Devil Kings would be able to afford it. Naturally, since this was the territory of the fallen Devil Emperor, the profits they earned would naturally be paid in tribute. Since the Devil Emperor was in control of the fallen Devil region, even if he didn't do anything, the amount of resources he would be able to earn every day would still be astronomical. If there were no benefits, what was the point of being the ruler? There are people following us. Wear this well, although it isn't of much use, it can withstand some attacks. Qin Wentian waved his hand and took out some puppet armors. These were the puppet armors he obtained when he entered the Battle Saint tribe back then. Their defensive prowess was extremely terrifying, but they had yet to reach the Immortal King or Devil King level. To the current Qin Wentian and the others, they were already of little use. But they could still withstand some attacks for them. Qin Wentian removed the puppet armors one by one. Everyone wore them and continued on their way, already making their preparations for battle. Sir Qin, what's your current condition? Xinu asked with some worry. Qin Wentian had already expended a terrifying amount of energy during his battle against Huang Shatian, and he was also injured. If he had to face another battle, how would he be able to withstand it? This was also the reason why Xinu felt that Qin Wentian was too impulsive. Although it was his true personality, by doing so, he would undoubtedly place himself in a dangerous situation. For experts of the Devil Path, for the sake of achieving their goals, they wouldn't care about bullying the weak. Qin Wentian displayed shocking strength on the battlefield. He definitely had some terrifying innate arts and techniques. If he obediently accepted the reward from the Devil Emperor, no one would dare to touch him. But since he rejected the reward and offended the Devil Emperor, it would be strange if those people didn't do anything. The Blackstone Devil King understood these Devil Kings the most. Hence, he instantly transmitted his voice to Qin Wentian, telling him to leave the fallen Devil Island immediately. Don't worry. Qin Wentian spoke. Xinu still had a look of worry on her face, hoping that those devil cultivators wouldn't react too quickly. As long as they left the fallen Devil Island, they would be safe. Their speed was extremely quick, and after some time, a gigantic sect appeared in their vision. Xinu silently heaved a sigh of relief. They immediately left after exiting the Devil Emperor Palace. There shouldn't be too many devil cultivators who reacted, right? Over there. Xinu pointed ahead. There was an extremely resplendent spatial light flashing. They directly entered the Devil Sect, and in an instant, Qin Wentian could clearly sense terrifying devil senses shooting over. Most probably, they were experts from the Devil Sect guarding the Grand Formation. Let's head to the vast Sky Devil region. Xinu spoke. After that, with a wave of her hand, she actually took out the interspatial ring Qin Wentian gave her and directly tossed it to the Guardian of the Grand Formation. The Guardian checked it and glanced at them. You can activate the Grand Formation now. Xinu. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. I've decided to stay in the Celestial Devil Lodge. I have no use for it. Xinu smiled gently at Qin Wentian. You guys can go ahead. Take care. Qin Wentian cast a deep glance at Xinu. After that, they stepped onto the teleportation array. Activate the Grand Formation. The Guardian spoke. Hold on. At this moment, a voice drifted over from afar. Qin Wentian's expression changed. The experts who were tracking him in the dark had arrived. One of them was someone Qin Wendian recognized. It was the Black Jiao Devil King. His expression was sinister and cold. Back then when Qin Wendian defeated his son, he still hadn't forgotten. Hence, he had been keeping an eye on Qin Wendian. Now that there was such a good opportunity, how could he not grab it? Other than this person, there were actually two others. One was an expert from the Royal Devil sect and the other was someone sent by the old Xia Devil King. They were the ones who paid the most attention to Qin Wendian, and the moment they saw Qin Wendian leaving, they immediately gave chase. They truly didn't want to give Qin Wendian any chance at all and wanted Qin Wendian's life. Other than Qin Wendian's life, they also wanted the treasures on Qin Wendian. I want to use this grand formation as well. The Black Jiao Devil King directly stepped into the formation. With a wave of his hand, he tossed an interspatial ring to the guardian. The other two Devil Kings did the same as well. They stood beside Qin Wendian, as though nothing had happened. Ha, no problem. The person guarding the array smiled. This kind of interregion teleportation array formation was activated only a few times, and the price for activating it was the same every time. After that, 3 more people came to deliver treasures of their own accord. It could be said to be an extra harvest, so they were naturally happy. Xinu's expression changed. Her silhouette flashed as she also stepped into the formation. I want to go as well. Activate the formation. The formation abruptly lit up. The expressions of Qin Wendian and the others turned unsightly. These Devil Kings were extremely intelligent, they actually didn't choose to act on the fallen Devil Island. After all, it was easy to attract other experts, and at that time, it was still unknown who the treasures belonged to. Hence, they might as well harden their hearts and pay the price to follow Qin Wendian. In that case, the treasures would be theirs. The formation activated, a terrifying spatial light flashed, and at this moment, there were actually several Devil Kings who arrived. When they personally saw Qin Wendian and the others vanishing, their countenances couldn't help but to change. There are people from the old Xia Devil King. Let's retreat. A Devil King spoke. There were some who hesitated, but ultimately, they chose to retreat. If they were a step too late, they most probably wouldn't be able to get a share of the spoils. In the vast Sky Devil region, the vast Sky Devil Island was also an incomparably gigantic floating island. Outside this island, it was a boundlessly vast stretch of desolation, filled with clouds and mist. These desolated areas were all ungoverned by anyone. At this moment, a dazzling light flashed. This was an extremely terrifying spatial energy. Boundless spatial law energy converged as numerous figures descended from the void, appearing in the desolate area outside the vast Sky Devil Island. Clearly, this was a one-way teleportation array. The vast Sky Devil Island would never allow the fallen Devil Island to open up a teleportation array on their island. Many of the teleportation arrays in the Devil regions were all opened up in secret. BZZ. At the instant these people appeared, a supremely powerful beam of sword light flashed as demonic chi towered up into the sky. The shadow of a fearsome great rock appeared, enveloping Qin Wendian and the others within. In 3 directions, 3 Devil Kings stood with their hands behind their backs, their eyes gleaming with terrifying devilish light. Things have already reached this stage, do you still want to resist? The Black Jiao Devil King coldly spoke. The subordinates of the old Xia Devil King spoke, do you guys want to vie with me? I only want a share of the spoils. An expert from the Royal Devil sect spoke. The 3 of them were already discussing how to divide the spoils of Qin Wendian. Chapter 1278. Qin Wendian and the others stood in the center, all of them had ashen expressions. 3 Devil Kings surrounded them, how ruthless. They felt that their speed was already fast enough. After leaving the Devil Emperor Palace, they sped towards the teleportation array and left the island. But even so, there were still 3 Devil Kings chasing after them. In addition, there might be more people chasing after them. It was just that the 3 Devil Kings were a step faster than them. The experts of the myriad devil islands were even more tyrannical compared to the people of the immortal realms. Bzz. Abruptly, a gigantic object appeared. The three devil kings stopped discussing how to divide Qin Wentian as their expressions froze. After that, they saw an ancient city floating in the air. This city was boundlessly vast, spanning over 1,000,000 miles, containing boundless law energy within. A devil king level treasure. The eyes of the three devil kings gleamed with sharpness. They long knew that Qin Wentian had many good things on him. Innate techniques and treasures were all things they wanted. This ancient city was actually a divine weapon. Rumble. Boundless law energy gathered as bell chimes rang out. Qin Wentian and the others were abruptly enveloped by the light screen of the ancient bell. The light screen then transformed into a gigantic golden ancient bell, enveloping Qin Wentian and the others. Can you still endure the burden of battle? Duan Qianshan asked Qin Wentian. He already fought to such an extent against Huang Shatian. If he fought against a devil king now, the burden would be too terrifying. Leave it to me. Qin Wentian closed his eyes. That sword, this ancient city, both of them are good treasures. The devil king sent by the old Xia devil king grinned. He stood with his hands clasped behind his back, exuding a towering devil might as he stared at the ancient bell. Did they want to live just like that? Wasn't it a little too simple? Things might change if we delay. Let's act. The devil king from the royal devil sect coldly spoke. Even though they were teleported to an extremely faraway place, he was still extremely cautious. Who knew if other devil kings would be teleported here as well? If they encountered a powerful devil king and killed all of them before leaving, what could the fallen devil island do to them? Such things were common in the myriad devil islands. The Black Jiao devil king roared as he blasted his palm towards the light screen. At this instant, it was as though an incomparably gigantic flood dragon appeared, exuding a supreme law might that blotted out the sky as it blasted into the light screen. A thunderous boom rang out as cracks appeared on the light screen. Qin Wentian groaned in misery. His eyes were tightly shut and his countenance was as pale as paper. The people around him were all worried for him. Boom! The sound of the bell reverberated through the heavens and earth. In the boundlessly vast Drift Snow city, snow suddenly began to fall as beams of law light shot up into the sky. At this instant, the entire city glowed with immortal light as though this city was also a body of laws. Dong, dong, dong. As the sound of the bell rang out, a boundless destructive might blasted out towards the three demon kings in the air, drowning out everything. Good treasure. The eyes of the three demon kings gleamed with excitement. An incomparably gigantic devil hammer appeared in the hands of the expert from the royal devil sect. Thunder rumbled as it descended from the sky, abruptly smashing downwards. At this instant, it felt as though the entire world was about to collapse as space itself shattered. Pooh! Qin Wentian coughed out another mouthful of blood as his countenance turned pale. Those around him all felt their bodies trembling from the impact. Devil kings, in addition to their powerful devil weapons, how terrifying would their attacks be? You guys be careful. Qin Wentian waved his hand as a resplendent ancient bell enveloped the people around him. As for Qin Wentian himself, he took out a treasure. It was a treasured cauldron. This cauldron was obtained by Qin Wentian in the city of ancient emperors. Within it, there was also the sacred luminance that contained the treasured arts of the 8 demonic gods, granting it boundless might. In addition, the treasured arts of the 8 demonic gods could be transformed into one of the strongest attacks Qin Wentian had used against Huang Shatian twice. Another good treasure. The eyes of the 3 demon kings flashed with greed. There were simply too many treasures on this Qin Wentian. Seems like he was the disciple of a supreme character in the immortal realms and might even be from an emperor-ranked power. But so what of it? This place was the myriad devil islands, not Wu Xiu's territory. No matter how strong one's background was, the immortal realms wouldn't be able to extend their hands here. Hence, they had no fear at all. Boom, boom, boom. The Black Jiao Devil King howled in rage, transforming into a 10,000-meter-long flood dragon. Its malevolent body unceasingly slammed into the ancient city, wanting to destroy it. Qin Wendian coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. His countenance was so pale that there was no trace of blood at all. He stared at the flood dragon and coldly spoke, "Since you are also a demon, I will use you as a sacrifice to the demon god cauldron." As the sound of his voice faded, Qin Wendian slammed his palm onto the cauldron. Resplendent runes circulated around his palm. It was none other than the strongest treasured art. The runes on his palm swiftly intertwined with the runes on the cauldron, frenziedly intertwining. At this moment, the cauldron suddenly expanded in size, transforming into an incomparably gigantic cauldron filled with darkness. "Go to hell." Qin Wendian blasted the cauldron forward. At this instant, the incomparably dark cauldron seemed to contain a desolate energy that caused one's heart to palpitate. In the next instant, a heaven-shaking roar rang out, shaking the heavens and earth. In the air, numerous supreme ancient demons appeared, floating in the air. The subordinates of Old Xia and the devil kings of the royal devil sect all froze. Their attacks involuntarily halted as they stared in shock at this scene. 10,000 demons appeared, with 8 demon gods coiling around them, controlling the world. They transformed into boundless darkness and opened their terrifying maws, wanting to devour everything. At this instant, a vortex appeared in the air, enveloping the 10,000-meter-long flood dragon within. Roar! The Black Jiao Devil King let out a heaven-shaking roar. His body trembled violently, causing the heavens and earth to tremble unceasingly. That incomparably gigantic body of the Black Jiao Devil King seemed to be struggling, yet the might of a supreme demon god bore down on him. This vortex was somewhat similar to the innate technique Qin Wendian used to attack Huang Shatian, but it was much stronger. Compared to the scene when Qin Wendian fought against Huang Shatian, this scene now truly felt the might of an apocalypse. The Black Jiao Devil King was trapped within the vortex, struggling more and more violently, shaking the heavens and earth. However, Qin Wendian's palm was still imprinted on the cauldron. The Black Jiao Devil King's gigantic body was slowly being sucked into the vortex, slowly disappearing. His 10,000-meter body continued to vanish. Only when the tail of the Black Jiao Devil King sank into the cauldron did the commotion gradually die down. Intense rumbling sounds rang out from the cauldron, and a moment later, everything finally died down. The Black Jiao Devil King seemed to have completely vanished from this world. The expressions of the other 2 Devil Kings drastically changed when they saw this scene, becoming extremely unsightly to behold. How could this treasure be so terrifying? At this moment, they even hesitated. Should they retreat? At this moment, Qin Wendian, who was enveloped by the ancient bell, was already extremely weak, as though he could die at any moment. Yet, he still managed to kill the Black Jiao Devil King in a single breath. During the process, he even endured their attacks and was on the verge of death. A look of greed flashed in the eyes of the Devil King from the royal devil sect. After obtaining this treasure, he wouldn't return to the royal devil sect. He would flee to a faraway place, to the vast Sky Devil region, and from then on, fly as high as a bird in the sky. In a situation where the benefits were great enough, it was sufficient to cause a person to betray them. The treasure Qin Wendian revealed was already sufficient for them to betray him. Boom! The Devil King from the royal devil sect blasted out with his hammer once more, causing boundless devil lightning to rain down. With a deafening boom, the light barrier shattered. Qin Wendian coughed out blood once more as his body trembled unstably. Die! The subordinates of the Old Xia Devil King lifted their giant palms, grabbing towards Qin Wendian. Go! Qin Wendian's palms slashed out. The demon's sword drank blood as an extreme demonic might gushed forth, soaring up into the sky, breaking apart the giant palm imprint of the Devil King. Qin Wendian was like a heavenly rock as he soared up into the sky. Qin Wendian roared in rage. A supreme screen of light enveloped this entire space as the entire city started moving, transforming into an incomparably gigantic ancient bell that sealed this entire space. You want to kill me? Give me your life then. Qin Wendian struck out with his treasured cauldron once more, sparing no expense as he released his flawless immortal foundation. Boundless law energy flowed into the cauldron as that vortex of destruction appeared once more. The scene of the apocalypse appeared once more. Courting death. The Devil King from the Royal Devil sect continued smashing down with his devil hammer. Qin Wendian's countenance turned pale. His immortal foundation spun frenziedly as though it was about to be sucked dry. However, he still didn't collapse, he still had the conviction to kill. Boom! The demonic chi from Qin Wendian towered up into the sky, engulfing this entire space. The shadow of a demon god manifested around him as the might of the cauldron grew even more terrifying. Have you gone mad? Nanfeng Ruoxuan shouted at Qin Wendian from within the ancient bell. He actually activated that uncontrollable bloodline power again. This would burn away his life force. The expressions of the two devil kings were extremely unsightly to behold. When they stared at the terrifying vortex of destruction, their countenances turned pale. Go to hell! A thunderous roar rang out as demonic might frenziedly gushed into the cauldron. Even his immortal foundation was on the verge of being incinerated completely. The vortex of destruction swallowed the entire space, pulling the two devil kings into it. Even though they transformed into giants, it was useless. Under the might of the vortex of destruction, everything was destroyed. Boom! The world-destroying might returned to the cauldron. Qin Wendian stretched his hand out and kept the cauldron. The three devil kings all vanished. With an intention of his will, Qin Wendian's immortal city shrank and vanished. The light from the ancient city vanished as Qin Wendian's body fell straight down from the air. Nanfeng Ruoxuan's speed was the fastest. She transformed into a phoenix shadow and caught Qin Wendian's body. The others all rushed over, and when they saw the unconscious Qin Wendian, they were silently cursing this madman in their hearts. Leave this place immediately, let's go. Nanfeng Ruoxuan took out a divine weapon as the group of them sped away, leaving this space. Xinu stared at Qin Wendian, who had fainted on his last breath, as her countenance turned pale. This person who killed the three great demon kings, would he die? Chapter 1279. On the fallen Devil Island, in the Devil Palace of the Devil Emperor, the crowd gradually dispersed, but there were still countless people gathered around the palace. At this moment, there was news that the young man with outstanding talent, Qin Wendian, actually used a teleportation array to leave the island. This caused many to silently muse that this fellow was truly intelligent, knowing that there was no place for him on the fallen Devil Island. There were also rumors that three devil kings and Qin Wendian left the island at the same time. When this news circulated out, many people silently sighed at how Qin Wendian didn't know how to appreciate favors. What a pity, he died just like that. Three devil kings left the fallen Devil Island, how could Qin Wendian survive? Even the fallen Devil Emperor wouldn't say anything. After all, that place was no longer within the boundaries of the fallen Devil Island. In addition, would the Devil Emperor speak up for a junior who didn't give him any face? Very swiftly, the identities of these three devil kings were dug out. One of them was the master of the Black Jiao Devil Island, the Black Jiao Devil King, and the other was an expert from the Royal Devil sect. Ba Xiao died in Qin Wendian's hands, the Royal Devil sect naturally wouldn't spare him. As for the last person, everyone already knew about him, but very few people talked about it. It was best not to offend the old Xia Devil King. Father, what should we do? The Blackstone Devil King and the third princess were outside the sect. When they heard the news, the expression on the third princess's face turned extremely ugly. There were actually three devil kings chasing after them. I've already warned him before. In addition, Qin Wendian isn't a reckless person. Since he rejected the reward from the Devil Emperor, he should have some confidence. The Blackstone Devil King spoke in a low voice. Not far away from them, a sinister gaze shot over. It was none other than the son of the Black Jiao Devil King. Yen Yurua, just you wait. I will definitely take good care of you. That devilish young man coldly spoke. Beside him was an expert from a major power on the fallen Devil Island. This person was none other than his foster father. The third princess coldly snorted but didn't say anything. At this moment, the countenance of the devilish young man drastically changed, turning pale. Father! With a loud roar, the eyes of the devilish young man turned bloodshot. His entire body trembled violently as though he knew something extremely terrifying. What's going on? His godfather asked. Godfather, father, he. The devilish young man's body trembled violently, and his eyes were filled with endless fear. Father, he's dead. Numerous gazes suddenly shot over, all of them exceptionally sharp. The Black Jiao Devil King was dead? This was interesting. The Black Jiao Demon King was one of the people chasing after Qin Wentian, and he was actually dead? So, was he killed by the other two Devil Kings because of the uneven distribution of the spoils, or was he killed by Qin Wentian? Most probably, it was because of the former. No matter how strong Qin Wentian was, he was still at the Devil Foundation realm. How could he fight against Devil Kings, let alone 3 of them? The eyes of the Blackstone Devil King and the third princess flashed. The Black Jiao Devil King had died? This was truly a joyous matter. Let's hope that this was done by Qin Wentian. Not long after, the people from the Royal Devil sect flew into a rage. It was said that the Devil King they sent out had also died. Everyone sighed silently. The people sent out by Old Xia were so powerful. Wasn't this too ruthless? It was one thing to snatch away Qin Wentian's items, but they actually killed 2 other Devil Kings as well. Most probably, because of Old Xia's background, the Black Jiao Devil King and the Royal Devil sect didn't dare to take revenge. At this moment, news circulated out. The Old Xia Devil King was also enraged. He sent people to seek out the experts from the Royal Devil sect and was extremely tyrannical. It seemed that the Devil King he sent out was also killed. At this moment, everyone fell silent. Wasn't it an internal conflict due to the uneven distribution of the spoils? Wasn't it 3 Devil Kings killing each other? How could this be possible? They didn't dare to think about it. How could Qin Wentian do this? Several days later, the death of the 3 Devil Kings was verified. They had truly died. This news caused a huge wave of commotion on the fallen Devil Island. Was this the domineering reply of the young man who rejected the Devil Emperor? The vast Sky Devil region and the fallen Devil region belonged to the neighboring regions and similarly controlled a myriad of Devil Islands. The vast Sky Devil Island was the core of the vast Sky Devil region. In a courtyard on the vast Sky Devil Island, a group of people gathered together to investigate. Their gazes were fixed on the young man lying on the bed as their brows were tightly furrowed. Nanfeng Ruoxuan sat beside Qin Wentian. Her brows were furrowed as she inclined her head and stared at everyone. How is he? Qida asked. His vitality is extremely tenacious, and there's a powerful force protecting his life, so there's no danger to his life. However, the heavy injuries this time, as well as using uncontrollable power twice, have damaged his foundation. I don't know how long it will take for him to fully recover. Nanfeng Ruoxuan spoke in a low voice. His injuries are extremely heavy and might even affect his future cultivation. Are the pills useless? No. Nanfeng Ruoxuan shook her head. Everyone fell silent. Qin Wentian was a core character of the adjudication battle and now, Huang Shatian was already a step ahead. If Qin Wentian really took too long to recover, the consequences would be unimaginable. Let alone the fact that his injuries might even affect Qin Wentian's foundation. Xianu stared at Qin Wentian who was quietly lying on the bed as her beautiful eyes flashed with a hint of sadness. The scene of Qin Wentian killing 3 Devil Kings in a single battle still lingered in her mind. How imposing was that? Xianu didn't expect that she would be able to meet such a character and even have a connection with him. Although she was only acquainted with Qin Wentian for a short period of time, she knew that characters like Qin Wentian weren't people she would be able to come into contact with normally. Glancing at the experts in the surroundings, every one of them was a peak-level genius. Sir Qin, he should be from the immortal realms, right? Xinu asked in a low voice. Emicham, Nanfeng Ruoxuan nodded. She wasn't very fond of Xinu. I heard from Sir Qin that he has a wife. Can I know some things about Sir Qin? Xinu asked. Nanfeng Ruoxuan actually didn't have any good feelings towards Xinu, especially towards Qing'er's senior apprentice sister Emozian. But no matter what, Xinu did help them. It was her who sent the news, allowing them to leave the fallen Devil Island in the shortest amount of time possible. Let me tell you. Emozian's voice was cold. Xinu glanced at her. She wasn't angry and only had a light smile on her face. She knew that females wouldn't like people like her. One of Qin Wentian's fiancées is my junior apprentice sister. Emozian spoke. Xinu's beautiful eyes flashed. She could understand Emozian's cold attitude even more now. My junior apprentice sister is the daughter of an immortal empire's great emperor. Her talent is outstanding and she was destined to be extraordinary. She was acquainted with Qin Wentian ever since they were young and have been together for many years. Our master is a peak-stage immortal emperor in the immortal realms. If we were in the immortal realms, our master would be able to easily slap the fallen devil emperor to death. Emozian spoke, intentionally intimidating Xinu. Xinu was truly shocked, her beautiful eyes froze. She had guessed that Qin Wentian had an extraordinary origin, but she didn't expect it to be to this extent. His fiancée was the daughter of an immortal empire's great emperor, a personal disciple of a peak-stage immortal emperor. What sort of woman was she? No wonder Sir Qin was so unmoved by her allure. His other lover is his childhood sweetheart. They have been in love for many years and both possess empire-toppling beauty. Emozian calmly spoke. Xinu smiled. Only these two women were a perfect match for Sir Qin. Qin Wentian came from a particle world in the immortal realms and rose up. He has peak-tier talent and obtained the favor of many immortal emperors. Even my junior apprentice sister's father is willing to betroth his daughter to him. This time, he came to the myriad Devil Islands because of my junior apprentice sister, wanting to participate in a battle against Huang Shatian. You have also seen Huang Shatian for yourself. He is a supreme genius from another peak power in the immortal realms. Emozian spoke concisely. Xinu nodded lightly. No wonder Huang Shatian was so powerful. Other than Qin Wentian, in this vast battlefield, there was no one else who could stand shoulder to shoulder with him. Only he was qualified to be Sir Qin's opponent. Do you understand now? Emozian's gaze was deep as she stared at Xinu. I understand, thank you. Xinu nodded lightly. Don't worry, I won't have any improper thoughts. I know I'm not worthy of Sir Qin. Emozian didn't say anything. This Xinu was an extremely intelligent woman and was proficient in reading people's expressions. However, I have a method to allow Sir Qin to recover faster. However, I need some time. Xinu spoke in a light voice. Emozian's eyes flashed. She stared at Xinu with some suspicion as she asked, Are you serious? Although Xinu is lowly, I won't joke about such a thing. Sir Qin has shown me kindness before, I will naturally do my best for him. Xinu spoke in a light voice. Let her try. Qida spoke. He didn't care about the Saint Lord's feelings, he was only concerned about Qin Wentian's safety. He entered the Celestial Devil Lodge together with Qin Wentian. He knew that Xinu wouldn't harm Qin Wentian. Right, how long do you need? Emozian nodded. I'm not sure as well, it would have to depend on Sir Qin's own recovery ability. I will do my best and during this period of time, I mustn't be disturbed. After I succeed, I will naturally leave. Xinu spoke. Emozian's eyes flashed, they were both decisive characters. She nodded and directly turned to leave, leaving behind only Xinu and Qin Wentian. Xinu sealed this space and walked to the side of Qin Wentian. Staring at that angular face, she stretched out her hand and gently caressed Qin Wentian's face as she sighed in her heart. In the end, she still couldn't escape from this. Being able to meet Qin Wentian, maybe, this was also fate's arrangement. At the corner of her eyes, a tear flowed down, landing on Qin Wentian's face. But right now, Qin Wentian was still unconscious. That beautiful countenance of hers couldn't be seen, let alone the smile on her face. However, that pair of beautiful eyes of hers was exceptionally resolute, as though she had no regrets. Chapter 1280. Time flowed by, the death of the 3 devil kings on the fallen Devil Island gradually faded away. On the vast Sky Devil Island, the appearance of a few more people wouldn't cause any ripples at all. Today, Qin Wentian woke up from his sleep. He opened his eyes and the faces of Qi De, Nanfeng Ruoxuan and the others entered his vision. Qin Wentian clenched his fists as a surge of energy gushed through his entire body. His eyes gleamed with sharpness as his pitch-black pupils shone with the profoundness of the starry skies. His entire person seemed to be filled with boundless energy. What's going on? Qin Wentian directly sat up. Other than the stiffness in his body, he didn't feel any discomfort. His injuries had long recovered and what was even more shocking was his cultivation base. How could this be possible? Glancing at everyone, Qin Wentian asked, "Where's Lady Xianyu?" During these days, he had been dreaming. In his dreams, some things happened that he couldn't speak of, causing him to feel ashamed. Other than this, in his dreams, he also cultivated, time and time again. Regardless of the things that he couldn't speak of or his cultivation, he repeated them many times. The person who appeared the most in his dreams was none other than Xianyu. Hence, when he opened his eyes and didn't see Xianyu, the first thing he asked was where she was. "Are you alright?" Mo Zian asked. Qin Wentian shook his head, "I'm fine now. Also, my cultivation base, this shouldn't be possible. Although I'm at the peak of the 7th level and could break through to the 8th level at any time, but..." Mo Zian and the others exchanged mutual glances. In her eyes, there was actually a trace of guilt. She then spoke in a light voice, "Lady Xianyu has returned to the fallen Devil Island. I personally sent her away. I believe given her intelligence, nothing will happen to her." Return to the fallen Devil Island? Qin Wentian frowned. Lady Xianyu said that she promised the Lodge Lord of the Celestial Devil Lodge that she would definitely return. This time around, her accompanying us here was merely an accident. Mo Zian said. Qin Wentian looked at the others, and the eye of truth flashed in his eyes. There was a terrifying look in his eyes, but it disappeared in a flash. Qin Wentian frowned. He saw a faint sense of guilt in the eyes of Mo Zian and the others, as well as a trace of complicated emotions. What on earth had happened? Mercury Lady Demonic Art. Qin Wentian closed his eyes. Could it be that the dream was real? Drawing in a deep breath, Qin Wentian stared at Qi De and asked, "Has Lady Xianyu really returned to the fallen Devil Island?" "Yes." Qi De nodded. "Yes." Qin Wentian nodded lightly and didn't say anything more. He stood up and walked out as he asked, "During this period of time when I was unconscious, did you investigate the situation on this island? If we want to meet the vast Sky Devil Emperor, there's only one way." Nanfeng Ruoxuan spoke. "What method?" Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. Clearly, everyone understood what he meant. Since they came to the fallen devil region and wanted to stop Huang Shatian, there was only one way, and that was to seek the Devil Emperor for help. It's basically impossible to meet the Devil Emperor. Let alone people of our cultivation base, even Devil Kings wouldn't be able to meet him. On this island, there's only one person who can bring us to meet the Devil Emperor. The daughter of the vast Sky Devil Emperor, the little princess of the vast Sky Devil region. This girl isn't very old and is doted on by the vast Sky Devil Emperor. She has an unruly personality but is extremely fond of martial arts and would often choose powerful devil cultivators to spar with the princess. The weaker ones would die while the victor would be rewarded. If one is strong enough, they can become her devil knight. Nanfeng Ruoxuan spoke. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. They wanted to start from the daughter of the Devil Emperor? The daughter of the Devil Emperor wouldn't be as easy to serve as that devilish female Yen Yurua. Her standards would surely be extremely high, and Nanfeng Ruoxuan also said that she would make things difficult for others. If she found someone to spar with, the weaker ones would die. From this, one could see that she basically didn't place others in her eyes at all. However, the Devil Emperor was a lofty existence. If he wanted to meet the Devil Emperor, he had to do it through a springboard. This little princess of the vast Sky Devil region was his only method. Let me try. Qin Wendian spoke. It's rumored that the daughter of the vast Sky Devil Emperor has a temperamental personality. Right now, there are fewer and fewer people who dare to head to her residence to spar. It's extremely dangerous, we have to be careful. Nanfeng Ruoxuan instructed. With regards to Qin Wendian's strength, they naturally had absolute trust in him. It's just that the status of the daughter of the Devil Emperor was extraordinary. No one could predict what would happen if they went to her residence. In addition, Qin Wendian's personality was extremely arrogant. If the daughter of the Devil Emperor wanted to make things difficult for him and Qin Wendian resisted, then, I will be careful. Qin Wendian spoke in a light voice. There's no time to lose, let's move out now. Everyone nodded and left this place together. Several days later, in Princess Qing's residence, in the vast and majestic land of the Devil Gate, figures of powerhouses passed through the towering city walls and entered through the Devil Gate. Both sides were lined with powerful guards, and there were even Devil King realm powerhouses guarding this place. Although no one dared to act against the princess on this Devil Island, the guards of the princess residence were all extremely powerful and were all personally selected by the princess. Qin Wendian was also among the crowd. This time around, there were over 10 experts who entered the residence together with him. All of them were characters at the peak of Devil Foundation because the princess was also at this level. In addition, it was rumored that the princess herself was extremely powerful. It wasn't easy to enter her eyes. On the way, there were experts guiding them. This residence was like a fortress, it didn't seem like the residence of a female. It was more like the residence of a Devil King. They were brought to a spacious martial arena. There were demonic walls on all sides, and there were experts guarding above. There were even Devil Kings among them, and they were all looking down at everything below. Qin Wendian inclined his head and stared at the devil walls. He only felt that this place was like a prison, and the atmosphere was extremely solemn. At this moment, a group of figures appeared on top of the devil walls. The person in the center exuded extraordinary grace and was incomparably outstanding. Her expression was cold, and no one could tell if she was happy or angry. She stared at Qin Wendian and the others with no emotions in her eyes. We pay our respects to the princess. The people around Qin Wendian all bowed. They came here for a single purpose, and that was to become a devil knight for the princess. Although there were many dangers, the greater the risk, the greater the reward. If they could climb up step by step, their futures would be boundless. Although the princess was known to be unruly and tyrannical, she had never forced anyone to enter her residence. From a certain perspective, she was also providing an opportunity for them. Only half of you can live. Same rules as before, each of you will choose an opponent and kill them. A serving girl beside the princess spoke in a cold voice. The serving girls of the princess were all extremely arrogant and rude. As for the rule that only half of them could live, it had always been like this. If not, some weaklings would try to fish in muddy waters and enter the princess residence. The princess didn't have the leisure to admire the battles of these weaklings. Hence, this was the only reason why these weaklings didn't dare to enter the princess residence. In an instant, a powerful devil might gushed forth. Qin Wendian stood in an empty space as cold light swept over him. Rumbling sounds rang out as the battle erupted. One of the devil cultivators stared coldly at Qin Wendian. His silhouette trembled as a towering devil might gushed forth as a devil palm imprint blasted out. Boom! Devil chi gushed forth from Qin Wendian as fiend god light circulated around him, exuding an unexcelled aura. Bang! The powerful palm imprint slammed into Qin Wentian, yet it actually had no way to break through Qin Wentian's defense. Only to see Qin Wentian standing with his hands clasped behind his back as he calmly inclined his head and stared at his opponent, his countenance cold to the extreme. That person's countenance changed. He knew how foolish it was to choose to kill Qin Wentian this time around. His silhouette flashed, wanting to flee. Qin Wentian lifted his palms and retaliated, instantly blasting his opponent far away, heavily injuring him. On the devil wall, Feng Xueqing's gaze turned to Qin Wentian as a gleam of light flickered in her eyes. This was the battle that ended the fastest. In addition, the attack of a peak-level Devil Foundation expert actually had no way to break through his defense. The loser shall die. The serving girl beside Feng Xueqing coldly spoke. A moment later, a powerful devil cultivator walked towards the heavily injured devil cultivator and directly killed him, her actions incomparably cold and emotionless. The battle continued, and after it ended, all those who were defeated died. Feng Xueqing's eyes were as calm as ever. Qin Wentian inclined his head and glanced at her. This daughter of a devil emperor, it wasn't appropriate to use the word unruly to describe her. For those who survived, you can choose not to die. But if you are killed in the following battles, you can't blame anyone else. Same rules, only the 3 strongest will remain. Feng Xueqing's serving girl continued. From the start till the end, Feng Xueqing didn't say a single word at all. A chaotic battle erupted, yet Qin Wentian was as though he had nothing to do with it. He quietly stood there as a brilliant light circulated around him. Despite the earth-shattering sounds of collision, he stood there steadily. Someone unleashed an attack in Qin Wentian's direction. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed as he lifted his fist and punched out, shattering everything. That person who ambushed him was directly punched in the chest as fresh blood gushed forth. His opponent took advantage of this opportunity to kill him. This person was originally stronger than his opponent, but when he saw Qin Wentian standing there unmoving, he was extremely unhappy and wanted to attack. Who would have thought that he would encounter a baleful god? The battle was still intense, but Qin Wentian didn't seem to be here at all. No one dared to touch him. Feng Xueqing stared at the silhouette of Qin Wentian. Among these people, it seemed that she was only interested in Qin Wentian. Very swiftly, only 3 people remained on the battlefield. The others either died or were brought away. Qin Wentian was naturally one of the 3. He stays. Reward the other 2 and let them leave. Feng Xueqing pointed to Qin Wentian as she spoke. The eyes of the other 2 flickered as disappointment flashed in their eyes. Even so, they still couldn't stay. Only Qin Wentian was left in the vast and empty space. Why don't you try it with me? Feng Xueqing took a step forward as her serving girl followed beside her. Qin Wentian inclined his head and stared at her as he calmly spoke, "Princess, you are not my opponent. It's best if you don't try." Impudent. That serving girl coldly snorted. Her silhouette was like a bolt of lightning as she shot towards Qin Wentian. Scram! Qin Wentian opened his mouth and spat out a thunderous roar. Ancient characters spat out from his mouth, directly sealing the entire space as they slammed down. With a piercing sound, that serving girl coughed out blood as her body was flung backwards. Her countenance was as pale as paper. Chapter 1281. Qin Wentian's words were a little exaggerated. His perfect immortal foundation wasn't merely because of the sacred luminance. However, the vast Sky Devil Emperor wouldn't know of this. Also, he couldn't let the Devil Emperor know that the sacred luminance was with him. If not, that would simply be courting death. Senior Devil Emperor, I know you can find someone to use special methods to seize my memories. However, I swear that only I can enter that place. In addition, if the Devil Emperor really wants to do so, I will naturally die. Qin Wentian decisively spoke. This battle is extremely important to me. If not, I wouldn't have taken the risk to come here to meet Senior Devil Emperor. How arrogant was this? Feng Xueqing's beautiful eyes were as cold as swords, incomparably sharp. She stared at Qin Wentian, in that case, I really want to try. After traveling for quite some time, Feng Shuiqing finally brought Qin Wendian to an incomparably majestic emperor palace. Princess is intelligent. I have a request. Qin Wendian spoke. I want to meet my father. Feng Shuiqing calmly spoke. At this moment, a voice drifted over. Shuiqing, is that little fellow beside you your new guard? I've never seen him before. Truth be told, I came to the Myriad Devil Islands because of a battle. If I return earlier, I will die for sure. I have to wait for another 9 years. Qin Wendian spoke. The vast Sky Devil Emperor quietly stared at him. The pressure he exuded was as strong as ever. The sacred luminance is in the immortal realms? The Devil Emperor asked. Boom! A fearsome aura gushed forth from Qin Wendian. His fiend god physique bore down on Feng Shuiqing as he lifted his palms, radiating divine might that pressed down on her. Feng Shuiqing's countenance drastically changed. After that, the gigantic palm imprint directly slammed down. It was like the palm of a divinity, there was no way for her to defend against it. Oh. Feng Shuiqing stared at Qin Wendian as she coldly spoke, why do I need to introduce you to him? You said that I'm not a match for you. Without trying, how can you be so confident? Feng Shuiqing wasn't angered. She quietly stared at Qin Wendian, her voice was as calm as ever. I don't have the time to guard you for 10 years. The Devil Emperor coldly spoke. This fellow truly dared to open his mouth. Taking a step forward, he followed behind Feng Shuiqing. On both sides, there were devil kings guarding them. If Qin Wendian dared to make any dangerous moves, he would be killed instantly. Yes, someone replied. It was rumored that the sacred luminance contained divine might, a type of mysterious and unfathomable energy. Anything that was cleansed by it would undergo a transformation, allowing stellar martial cultivators to reach an even more perfect state. Also, the 10 years of protection he mentioned earlier was most probably to pave the way for them to attack the fallen Devil Island. There's a secret realm in the immortal realms that only I can open. I can bring the Devil Emperor and the princess there to bathe in the light of the sacred luminance. In fact, if the Devil Emperor has other sons and daughters, they can also go there together. Qin Wendian spoke. What is your purpose in coming to my residence? Feng Shuiqing asked. Such a character shouldn't have appeared here. Since he wanted to become an imperial guard, he must have some wild ambitions. There's no need to try. On the vast Sky Devil Island, there won't be anyone at the Devil Foundation realm who can be my opponent. Qin Wendian calmly spoke. However, it was precisely this calm voice that was filled with arrogance, to the point where it could even be said to be arrogant to the extreme. Perfect Great Immortal Foundation. A strange light flashed in the eyes of the Devil Emperor, he suddenly felt some interest. He didn't say anything and quietly waited for Qin Wendian to continue speaking. Qin Wendian stared at Feng Shuiqing. Before this, he had been observing her and knew that Feng Shuiqing wasn't as unruly as the rumors said. This woman wasn't simple at all. Hence, he went straight to the point, not hiding anything from her. How dare you? That serving girl stood up, glaring at Qin Wendian with eyes as sharp as swords. As Feng Shuiqing's personal serving girl, who wouldn't be respectful to her? Who had ever dared to treat her in such a manner? Father, I have something I need to see you about. Feng Shuiqing spoke. Qin Wendian surveyed the vast Sky Devil Emperor. This Devil Emperor character who could dominate an entire region, other than exuding a sense of imposingness, he didn't exude any aura at all. Since he was meeting with his daughter in his own home, he naturally wouldn't display the might of a Devil Emperor. What's the matter? Feng Shuiqing's eyes gleamed with a bright light. This man actually wanted to see her father. What great ambitions! Although the vast Sky Devil Emperor was a Devil Emperor, he had never met the sacred luminance before. However, with Feng Shuiqing leading the way, there were no obstructions. If Qin Wendian came alone, let alone meeting the Devil Emperor, he would most probably be killed the moment he stepped into the outermost gate of the Devil Palace. In that case, I beg Senior to attack the fallen Devil Island and search for some people for me. When the 10 years limit is up, I will definitely keep my promise and bring the Devil Emperor to the immortal realms to look for the sacred luminance. If the Devil Emperor doesn't believe me, you can send experts to monitor me during these 10 years. Qin Wentian bowed. Sacred luminance. Qin Wentian spoke. The eyes of the Devil Emperor flashed, gleaming with a resplendent light. Perfect Devil Foundation. Fang Xueqing stared at Qin Wentian. Why do you want to see me? The Devil Emperor asked. You want me to start a war with another Devil Emperor? The vast sky Devil Emperor laughed. What a crafty fellow. The vast sky Devil Emperor coldly laughed. Monitor you? I think it's to protect you. You guys wait here for me. Fang Xueqing spoke to the people behind her. After that, she turned to Qin Wentian, come with me. Junior Qin Wentian pays my respects to Senior Devil Emperor. Qin Wentian bowed as he called out. Bang! A raging wind buffeted Fang Xueqing's countenance, her long hair fluttered wildly in the wind. That palm imprint halted in the air above her head as she closed her eyes. The experts in the surroundings all unleashed their terrifying auras, enveloping Qin Wentian. If that palm strike landed, the princess would definitely die. After speaking, she brought Qin Wentian and continued forward, entering a courtyard within the Emperor Palace. A middle-aged expert was currently sitting in front of a pavilion, smiling at her. Xueqing, I've never seen you bringing anyone here before. Seems like your relationship isn't bad. I need Senior Devil Emperor to protect me for 10 years. Qin Wentian spoke. In addition, the sacred luminance could ignore cultivation levels, possessing unfathomable power. It was extremely rare. I wish to meet with the Devil Emperor. Princess, please guide me. Qin Wentian spoke. If Qin Wentian couldn't give her an explanation, she believed that given how powerful this man was, he wouldn't be so foolish. What do you want? The Devil Emperor asked. The whistling wind dissipated. Fang Xueqing opened her eyes and stared at Qin Wentian, who was calmly standing before her as a bright light flashed in her eyes. Back then when Junior was at the Celestial Phenomenon Realm, I had yet to establish my immortal foundation. However, I had a miraculous encounter and my body underwent a transformation. When I stepped into the Immortal Foundation realm, I established a perfect immortal foundation and my fleshly body is incomparably perfect. Qin Wentian spoke. The Devil Emperor would definitely be interested in this. Qin Wentian merely laughed. A serving girl actually dared to have such a temper. The Devil Palace of the vast sky Devil Emperor was naturally incomparably imposing, exuding a majestic aura. However, the guards at the entrance were as many as the clouds. Devil Kings could be seen everywhere. He came here to meet with the Devil Emperor. If even a serving girl dared to berate him, how would he have the qualifications to meet with the Devil Emperor? Junior comes from the immortal realms. Qin Wentian released his immortal might. This time around, he released a perfect immortal foundation instead of a devil foundation. Fang Xueqing's eyes flashed as she stared at Qin Wentian. This fellow actually lied to her. Come over. The voice of the Devil Emperor drifted over. As she spoke, her aura erupted forth. In an instant, an extreme coldness and pressure radiated from her, extremely powerful. Fang Xueqing loved to battle, her subordinates were all extremely powerful characters on the Devil Islands. She would only choose the strongest among them. If not, she wouldn't have left Qin Wentian alone today. The princess residence Fang Xueqing stayed in was a palace. Her personality was independent and she didn't stay in the Devil Palace of the vast sky Devil Emperor. She chose to stay in the palace instead. Right. Fang Xueqing didn't say anything more and directly nodded her head. Her personality was extremely decisive. So what if Qin Wentian met with her father? In front of her father, Qin Wentian's cultivation base was simply too low. He basically didn't have the qualifications to speak. To her, there wouldn't be any losses at all. The expression of the vast sky devil emperor turned cold. A terrifying might bore down on Qin Wentian as he spoke. You are truly gutsy. Qin Wentian kept his immortal foundation and nodded. That's right, I had a stroke of good fortune that allowed me to establish a perfect devil foundation. If Princess allows me to meet with the devil emperor, I will naturally tell him everything. The legendary divine object, the sacred luminance. On the vast sky devil island, there was no one at the devil foundation realm who was his opponent. This matter is extremely important. I need to meet with the devil emperor first. Father has misunderstood. This man is here to meet with you. Feng Shuiqing spoke. The eyes of the devil emperor flashed. He stared at Qin Wentian. Meet with me? The devil emperor stared at Qin Wentian as a strange light flashed in his eyes. A person with such a low cultivation base actually didn't seem to be nervous when meeting with him. This caused him to be extremely bewildered. After the baptism of the sacred luminance, Qin Wentian's body was extremely close to perfection. After that, he established a perfect immortal foundation during his cultivation. Princess. Many experts came over, bowing to Feng Shuiqing. Qin Wentian coldly glanced at her. Just a single glance instantly caused her to fall into hell. She only felt a pair of terrifying eyes staring at her as she fell into an illusory hell. Her body trembled as an unsightly expression appeared on her face. She had been by the princess's side for so many years, but she had never met such a powerful character before. Is father here? Feng Shuiqing asked. What good fortune? The voice of the vast sky devil emperor was calm. He was truly curious. What good fortune could allow someone to establish a perfect immortal foundation? I can give you a chance to transform. Qin Wentian spoke. Feng Shuiqing's eyes flashed. She stared at Qin Wentian with cold arrogance as she continued, speak clearly. Come with me. Feng Shuiqing spoke. After that, she turned and soared into the air. Her serving girl coldly glanced at Qin Wentian before following behind her. Princess, bring me to meet with the devil emperor. I will naturally speak clearly. Princess, please take a look. Only to see Qin Wentian's immortal foundation blooming forth. However, it was covered in devil qi, resembling a devil foundation. This devil foundation rotated rapidly, appearing flawless. Qin Wentian calmly stood there. His eyes gleamed with spirit as he stared at the serving girl. What's the matter? Feng Shuiqing's eyes flashed. Chapter 1282. If it wasn't for the fact that he had no other choice, Qin Wentian wouldn't have come here to meet with the devil emperor and even used the sacred luminance as bait. He was very clear that this was an extremely dangerous thing to do. If the vast sky devil emperor wasn't too interested in the sacred luminance or didn't want to waste time on him, Qin Wentian would immediately be in a dangerous situation. However, Huang Shatian had already obtained the help of the fallen devil emperor. If he didn't seek help from the fallen devil emperor, he would have already lost half of this adjudication battle. At this moment, the vast sky devil emperor stared at Qin Wentian. That pressure was still present, and although it wasn't as tyrannical as before, it still caused perspiration to appear on Qin Wentian's body. He, who was at the Immortal Foundation realm, was actually negotiating with a devil emperor. This was clearly an impulsive action. Is it really because of the sacred luminance that you established a perfect saint-grade immortal foundation? Since you have bathed in the sacred luminance before, how much use do you think it would be to immortal emperors? The devil emperor calmly asked, his devilish voice lingering in the air, causing Qin Wentian to not dare to lie. The vast sky devil emperor knew that the sacred luminance would definitely exist in an extraordinary place and it couldn't be brought around. Hence, he didn't suspect that Qin Wentian had the sacred luminance on him. I don't dare to say that I completely relied on the sacred luminance to establish my saint-grade immortal foundation. But back then when I barged into the secret realm, I had a few good friends with me. Right now, the lowest grade of their immortal foundation is at least a 5th-tier king grade. Also, their cultivation speed is extremely fast. At that time, we were all at different cultivation bases and the sacred luminance has the same effect to everyone. As for how useful it would be to immortal emperors, this junior doesn't dare to say. Qin Wendian honestly replied. The vast sky devil emperor fell silent. His daughter Fang Xueqing's beautiful eyes stared at Qin Wendian. This sacred luminance would definitely be extremely useful to her, it would be able to aid her in breaking through to the immortal king realm. However, she wouldn't ask for anything. The vast sky devil emperor also glanced at Fang Xueqing as he spoke. Your status in the immortal realms should be extraordinary, right? If you are someone from an immortal emperor's sect, how would I know that you wouldn't play any tricks? This place was the Myriad Devil Islands, his home ground. Qin Wendian naturally wouldn't be able to play any tricks here. But in the immortal realms, he, the Devil Emperor of the Myriad Devil Islands, would have many restrictions. Junior doesn't have any conflict of interest with Senior Devil Emperor. If Senior is willing to lend Junior a helping hand, why would I scheme against Senior? In addition, if I dared to lie to a character like Senior, even if I have an immortal emperor behind my back, I would still be filled with trepidation. Qin Wendian spoke. When are we leaving? The demon emperor suddenly asked. Qin Wendian's eyes flashed, the sooner the better. Just wait for me to call a few friends over, then we can set off immediately. I admire your guts. Go and bring your friends over. The demon emperor waved his hand as he spoke. Qin Wendian bowed to the demon emperor and smiled, many thanks for Senior's help. As he spoke, Qin Wendian directly turned and left. The fact that things could proceed so smoothly caused Qin Wendian to feel joy in his heart. However, this should also be the attraction of the sacred luminance. Right now, his cultivation base was still weak. Once he breaks through to the immortal king realm, he would be able to make good use of the sacred luminance. Father, did you agree to his request so easily? Fang Xueqing asked the demon emperor. Since he wants to experience the sacred luminance, why must he play so many schemes? In the end, it would only end up in vain. Sometimes, it's better to be simpler. The vast sky devil emperor spoke. At that time, if he really dares to play tricks on me, even if he has an immortal emperor backing him, I will still be able to take his life. Father is right. I will send him out. Fang Xueqing left, following after Qin Wendian. After Qin Wendian left the Emperor Palace, he immediately returned, using his fastest speed to bring Qida and the others to the Devil Palace. At the same time, the vast Sky Devil Emperor summoned his subordinates. When Qin Wendian arrived at the Emperor Palace again, a terrifying army appeared before him, causing Qin Wendian to feel fear in his heart. As expected of a Devil Emperor that ruled over an entire region. With a single command, he could summon all the Devil Kings here, turning them into an army of Devil Kings. How terrifying! Let's move out. There's a spatial array in my Emperor Palace that leads to the Fallen Devil region. We will be able to reach the Fallen Devil Island soon. The vast Sky Devil Emperor stood there and spoke. Qin Wendian nodded. Qida and the others were all shocked. This fellow Qin Wendian, what methods did he use exactly? He actually managed to convince a Devil Emperor to mobilize an army of Devil Kings for him. Qin Wendian was like a miracle. Okay. Qin Wendian nodded and prepared to move out. And at this moment, on the Fallen Devil Island, the matter of the Devil Emperor's birthday banquet had already calmed down. Many Devil Kings were still active on the Fallen Devil Island, but there were also quite a few who have already left, returning to their own islands. Naturally, the Devil Emperor has already done what he promised Huang Shatian. He has already issued an order to the Devil Kings who came to attend the birthday banquet to search for the person Huang Shatian was looking for. Once there was news, they were to immediately report it to the Fallen Devil Island. As for the death of the 3 Devil Kings back then, fewer and fewer people talked about it. That unyielding young man who dared to reject the Devil Emperor during the birthday banquet was also gradually forgotten by people. Occasionally, people would only think of him when the birthday banquet was mentioned. But even now, there were still people guessing how the 3 Devil Kings died exactly. Could that arrogant young man really be able to kill 3 Devil Kings? Nobody knew what happened exactly on that day. But no matter what happened, it would eventually fade away. The Devil Emperor wouldn't be affected by the death of a few Devil Kings. He wouldn't regret the decision he made during the birthday banquet back then. To him, all these were just minor matters. Although the old Xia Devil King was enraged, his anger soon subsided. He only lost a Devil King subordinate, but what Huang Shatian gave him was much more precious. It was just a pity that he didn't manage to capture Qin Wentian. If that was the case, all the treasures on Qin Wentian would belong to him. During these few days, it was rare for the Devil Emperor to be free. The old Xia Devil King would accompany the Devil Emperor to play chess and drink tea. With such an old friend, the old Xia Devil King naturally wanted to solidify their relationship when the Devil Emperor was free so that they wouldn't drift apart. After all, for characters like the Devil Emperor, once he entered closed-door seclusion or went out to temper himself, it might take a very long period of time. In the Emperor Palace, the Devil Emperor and the old Xia Devil King were currently playing chess. Beside them, there were many other Devil Kings chatting and drinking tea. The atmosphere was very peaceful. Old Xia, I might have to leave for a period of time soon. The fallen Devil Emperor placed a chess piece down as he spoke to the old Xia Devil King. Are you going to roam the world again? I'm really envious of you, being able to enter some places I don't have the qualifications to. The old Xia Devil King shook his head and laughed. Envious? The Devil Emperor shook his head. At my level, wanting to improve a single step is as difficult as ascending the heavens. I can only go to some unknown places, and sometimes, I might even be risking my life. Even if you don't improve, you are already a sovereign of a devil region. The old Xia Devil King consoled. You must know that in this world, if you don't advance, it would be equivalent to you falling back. After 1,000 years, there would always be people who would surpass you. Let alone us sovereigns of devil regions, we aren't as free and unfettered as you imagine us to be. The power of the myriad devil sovereign is the true supreme existence. Even if we are incomparably imposing and glorious, if we are careless, we would still be consigned to eternal damnation. The Devil Emperor spoke in a light voice. That's right, at different levels, the scenery we see would naturally be different. The characters we face would also be different. Right now, I only hope that I can step into your realm while you want to continue advancing. Our cultivation is truly endless, I wonder if there's an end to it. The old Xia Devil King inclined his head and stared at the sky. End? The Devil Emperor pointed to the sky. How can there be an end to this sky? The voice of the fallen Devil Emperor was filled with sorrow. Even as a Devil Emperor, he basically didn't know what the end was. In the world of cultivation, there seemed to be no limit. The stronger one was, the more one could feel how insignificant a person's strength was. In front of those with lower cultivation bases, they would stare up at them and feel that they were unfathomably deep. But as their strength grew stronger, their horizons grew higher and the world they saw became even vaster. Yeah, the boundless constellations, the 9 astral rivers, where is the end? The old Xia Devil King also sighed. For immortal emperors, they could directly borrow the power of the constellations, becoming one with the heavens and earth. However, in front of the boundless constellations in the 9 heavenly layers, they were merely people who could borrow the power of the constellations. At this moment, the sound of footsteps rang out. A Devil King appeared not far away and bowed. Sir Devil Emperor, there's an anomaly at the border of the island. There's news saying that there are many experts entering the island. Anomaly? The fallen Devil Emperor shook his head. I'm on this island, what else can happen? Yes, Sir Devil Emperor. That Devil King nodded, thinking the same in his heart. Since the Devil Emperor was here, what else could happen? At the border of the fallen Devil Island, at this moment, countless people inclined their heads and stared at the sky as their bodies trembled violently. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Didn't the birthday celebration of the Devil Emperor already end? Where did all these experts come from? In addition, even for the birthday celebration of the Devil Emperor, there shouldn't be such a terrifying army appearing at the same time. In the air, a black devil army could be seen. Their might engulfed everything, enveloping a boundless area. Demonic beasts prostrated themselves on the ground and cultivators felt a sense of suffocation. This pressure was too terrifying, able to crush everything. That young man seems to be the one who rejected the reward bestowed by the Devil Emperor during the birthday celebration, Qin Wentian. Someone saw the silhouette of a young man at the front of the crowd. His eyes abruptly froze as a startling light gleamed in them. How can this be possible? That young man was pursued by the 3 devil kings back then, yet he actually returned and even brought such a powerful army with him. Could it be that there's a terrifying character supporting him from the back? Some people who entered the battlefield for the birthday celebration felt their hearts trembling as they stared at Qin Wentian. However, it only took an instant for this group of people to vanish. They continued forward in a grandiose manner, crushing everything in their path. There were unceasing messages being sent to the Emperor Palace. However, the Devil Emperor was playing chess and simply replied with a "I'm here." What could happen? In that case, who would still dare to disturb him? With the Devil Emperor around, nothing was a big deal. Chapter 1283. With the fallen Devil Emperor around, there naturally wouldn't be any major incidents during normal times. But today, when the terrifying Devil army arrived, everywhere they passed by, the hearts of countless Devil cultivators trembled. All of them could sense that something major was about to happen. Qin Wentian was someone who fled from the fallen Devil Island. When he left, there were still 3 Devil Kings chasing after him and they all died. Now that he returned, it was clear that he wasn't here to pay his respects to the fallen Devil Emperor. In that case, there was only one possibility: he was here for revenge. Since this army was already on the fallen Devil Island, how could they not know of the fame of the fallen Devil Emperor? However, they still came here. This could only mean one thing. They weren't afraid of the fallen Devil Emperor. The gazes of everyone turned to an incomparably imposing expert in the center. He stood there like a divinity, unexcelled in the world, like he was the ruler of this world. Could this man be the Devil Emperor? Nobody knew. But most probably, they would find out very soon. This group of people sped towards the Emperor Palace of the fallen Devil Emperor. Finally, when they were quite a distance away from the Emperor Palace, the fallen Devil Emperor suddenly felt an aura. The chess piece in his hand landed, causing a crisp sound to ring out as he furrowed his brows. What's wrong? The old Xia Devil King couldn't help but ask when he saw the frown on the fallen Devil Emperor's face. The fallen Devil Emperor didn't reply. He turned his gaze over and stared into the distance. After that, a terrifying devil sense gushed out, engulfing everything in an instant. After that, the fallen Devil Emperor stood up and stared into the distance as his gaze turned solemn. I'm here, what would happen? Seems like today, even if he was here, something would still happen. Everyone at the Devil King realm, gather here now. The devil sense of the fallen Devil Emperor enveloped the entire area, causing countless people to be shocked. The fallen Devil Emperor personally gave the order. What major event would happen? The countenance of the old Xia Devil King changed. He knew this old friend of his. When he saw the solemn expression on the fallen Devil Emperor's face, he immediately understood that something major was about to happen. What's going on exactly? The old Xia Devil King asked. The fallen Devil Emperor glanced at the old Xia Devil King as a strange look flashed in his eyes. He then spoke, that little fellow named Qin Wentian has returned. Qin Wentian? The eyes of the old Xia Devil King flashed. Did he return to court death? He still dares to return. I came with the vast Sky Devil Emperor. The fallen Devil Emperor spoke again. The eyes of the old Xia Devil King froze there. Ordinary people might not know who the vast Sky Devil Emperor was, but as an extremely ancient Devil King character and an old friend of the fallen Devil Emperor, how could he not know of the ruler of the vast Sky Devil region, which was a neighboring region to the fallen Devil region? Qin Wentian had followed the vast Sky Demon Emperor here. The countenance of the old Xia Devil King instantly turned extremely unsightly. A Devil Foundation character actually allowed a Devil Emperor to follow him here? This young man should be someone from the immortal realms, right? How did he form a connection with the vast Sky Devil Emperor? One after another, the Devil King powerhouses gathered from all directions. The terrifying coercive aura was getting closer and closer, and they all felt the extremely strong devil might one after another. It was like an army of the devil world was marching towards them. When their devil senses could reach it, their expressions became even more interesting. It was actually Qin Wentian who was treated unfairly back then at the birthday banquet of the fallen Devil Emperor and rejected the reward. He actually returned so quickly and even brought a devil army with him. Let's welcome our guests. The fallen Devil Emperor walked out. A group of devil kings all had solemn expressions on their faces as they followed after him. The expression of the old Xia Devil King was undoubtedly the heaviest. The vast Sky Devil Emperor actually came. Qin Wentian was merely a junior, no matter how outstanding his talent was, he didn't expect such an ending. If the vast Sky Devil Emperor declared war because of this matter, he, the old Xia Devil King, would undoubtedly be a sinner. Not too long after, the terrifying devil army arrived, exuding an aura so terrifying that it was stifling. Other than Qin Wentian and a few others, the rest were all devil kings. The people in the surroundings all inclined their heads and stared in the direction of the Emperor Palace as great waves rose in their hearts. An army sped towards the Emperor Palace. The fallen Devil Emperor personally came out. Something major was going to happen. The gazes of the Devil Kings around the fallen Devil Emperor all landed on Qin Wentian. This fellow, what guts! Back then when he rejected the reward from the fallen Devil Emperor, everyone thought it was over for him and that he would die for sure. In truth, there were indeed 3 Devil Kings who chased after him, but not only did he not die, he even killed the 3 of them. Now, he even brought a Devil Emperor with him. How imposing was this? One couldn't help but say that this was truly a hot-blooded story. Sadly, Qin Wentian was the main character. Brother Vast Sky, I wonder why you came to my devil region. The fallen Devil Emperor didn't look at Qin Wentian but was looking at the vast Sky Devil Emperor instead. He didn't understand why a character like the vast Sky Devil Emperor would send out an army just for a junior. No matter how outstanding the talent of a junior was, he shouldn't have such a great deal of face. Nothing much, I just heard that a junior suffered some grievances at your hands. Hence, I came here to seek guidance from you. The vast Sky Devil Emperor casually spoke, sounding extremely casual. The fallen Devil Emperor furrowed his brows. If he didn't see wrongly, Qin Wentian should be someone from the immortal realms. It was impossible for him to have any connection with the vast Sky Devil Emperor. Since when did he become his junior? However, he wouldn't argue. He only smiled. Back then during my birthday banquet, Qin Wentian's performance was truly not bad. But after considering many aspects, I decided to reward him. To many, this should be an honor, but who would have thought that the personality of this little fellow would be so stubborn? However, if he had said that he was Brother Vast Sky's junior, he could have just told me directly if he wanted anything. There would be no need for him to participate in the battle in the air. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed when he heard the words of the fallen Devil Emperor. From the perspective of the fallen Devil Emperor, this wasn't a big deal to him. It was merely a little unfair to him, Qin Wentian. If it was anyone else, they would also be filled with gratitude and wouldn't dare to question it, let alone bring an army of devils to kill him. However, this little bit of bias was nothing to the fallen Devil Emperor. But to him, Qin Wentian, it was a matter of life and death. This bias might cause his friends in the fallen devil region to be in a dangerous situation. Once they were found, they would be hunted down by Huang Shatian and lose the adjudication battle. He couldn't afford to lose, hence, he took the risk to meet with the vast Sky Devil Emperor. From the perspective of your majesty, this is naturally an insignificant matter. In fact, I, Qin Wentian, am merely an insignificant minor character. But a single command from your majesty would cause some of my friends to be in a dangerous situation. Qin Wentian spoke. If I was defeated in the battle in the air back then, I wouldn't have anything to say. However, I didn't lose. As an insignificant character, I can't enter the eyes of your majesty. I rejected the reward and was hunted down by the 3 devil kings, almost losing my life. I know that the weak have no authority to speak. Back then, I merely rejected the reward. If I questioned your majesty, I would most probably be killed on the spot. Hence, I can only invite Senior Vast Sky Devil Emperor here to seek justice. How do you want to seek justice? The fallen Devil Emperor stared at Qin Wentian. Old Xia Devil King. Qin Wentian turned his gaze over. His eyes landed on the old Xia Devil King as he spoke. I wish to ask. Back then, me and Huang Shatian were both heavily injured, Old Chai and Duan Qianshan were evenly matched, and Xia Yuan didn't have any outstanding battle achievements. Why is it that those 3 were Huang Shatian, Old Chai and Xia Yuan, but not me, Duan Qianshan? Old Xia Devil King frowned. If it was before, how would Qin Wentian dare to question him? But now, Qin Wentian came here together with the Vast Sky Devil Emperor. He didn't know how to reply. I naturally have my own logic to my opinion. After all, you borrowed external help while Old Chai and Xia Yuan killed more people. Old Xia Devil King spoke. Old Xia Devil King, Xia Yuan is coincidentally here as well. Tell him to come and fight me. If he wins, it would prove that what you said is true. My death is not to be regretted and Senior Vast Sky Devil Emperor will definitely not interfere. If he loses, I won't kill Xia Yuan as well. Rumble. Old Xia Devil King's eyes flashed with coldness. How impudent, wanting him to pay with his life. Even if I'm biased, you want me to pay with my life? Old Xia Devil King's aura surged violently, gushing forth. Your subordinates should be among those who are hunting me, right? I'm already giving you a chance by proposing to fight against Xia Yuan. Qin Wentian's voice was ice cold. The eyes of the fallen Devil Emperor were staring at the Vast Sky Devil Emperor. Since you have done it, you should dare to admit it. Just do as Qin Wentian says. The Vast Sky Devil Emperor calmly spoke, deciding the matter. Qin Wentian knew how to act appropriately. He knew that it was impossible to kill the fallen Devil Emperor. Hence, he chose to act against those close to the fallen Devil Emperor. Today, he came here to support Qin Wentian, wanting the fallen Devil Emperor to compromise. Naturally, he would have to use someone as an example. What if I don't agree? The old Xia Devil King coldly spoke. If you don't have the courage to bear the consequences of your actions, we will fight then. The Vast Sky Devil Emperor coldly spoke. This sentence caused the heavens and earth to tremble. Old Xia Devil King, you want the fallen Devil Island to help you deal with the consequences? What a joke, back then I borrowed the face of the fallen Devil Emperor. Qin Wentian coldly spoke. Today, the old Xia Devil King had to die. He definitely had colluded with Huang Shatian. No matter from what angle, he had to be killed. The people on the side of the fallen Devil Emperor all felt a formless pressure. Qin Wentian wanted to force the old Xia Devil King to die. The hearts of the spectators from afar trembled. Back then, the old Xia Devil King relied on the fact that he was a good friend of the fallen Devil Emperor. But now, Qin Wentian wanted his life. Back then, the absolute ruler of the fallen Devil Emperor, the old Xia Devil King had nothing to fear. Borrowing the might of the fallen Devil Emperor, his words were like a decree. But today, Qin Wentian brought another Devil Emperor here. The expression of the fallen Devil Emperor was extremely unsightly. The Vast Sky Devil Emperor was forcing him. His meaning was that no matter if the old Xia Devil King agreed to Qin Wentian's request or not, he would still die. It was impossible for Xia Yuan to defeat Qin Wentian. Back then, everyone at the banquet was very clear about this point. Placed before the old Xia Devil King, was a path of death. Unless the fallen Devil Emperor spared no expense and started a war. Chapter 1284. The heart of the old Xia Devil King trembled. He didn't expect that he would be forced to such an extent because of a minor character. Back then during the birthday celebration of the fallen Devil Emperor, he did rely on his status as a good friend of the fallen Devil Emperor. He knew that the fallen Devil Emperor would give him face. Given their friendship, how could a junior compare to him? He felt that this was just a minor matter. Even the fallen Devil Emperor himself felt this way. But now, this minor matter has become a major one, so major that it could affect the Emperor Palace and take his life. Brother Vast Sky, it can't be to this extent, right? The fallen Devil Emperor spoke. The old Xia Devil King was his good friend. No matter what, he had to do his best to protect him. He already sent people to pursue little brother Wentian. Is this not enough for him to pay with his life? In addition, he is given a fair chance, how can it not be to this extent? The Vast Sky Devil Emperor calmly spoke. Brother Vast Sky, do you really intend to start a war with my fallen devil region for a junior? The fallen Devil Emperor was also somewhat angry. Before this, he was very polite because he wanted to minimize this matter. The Vast Sky Devil Emperor was an extremely tyrannical devil emperor, he didn't wish for a war to break out. Resolving this matter was naturally the best solution. But the first thing Qin Wentian wanted was the life of the old Xia Devil King. This will depend on your choice. The eyes of the Vast Sky Devil Emperor gleamed with sharpness. Qin Wentian, what do you want? You can tell me directly. Since you are acquainted with Brother Vast Sky, as long as your request isn't too overboard, I will naturally satisfy you. The fallen Devil Emperor stared at Qin Wentian as he spoke, already taking a step back. The experts in the surroundings all felt their hearts trembling. Seems like the fallen Devil Emperor didn't want to start a war, he actually chose to compromise with a junior. This time around, the fallen Devil Emperor was truly tricked by the old Xia Devil King. Everyone silently mused, silently cursing this old Xia Devil King. Back then, Qin Wentian's performance was outstanding and he should have been one of the top 3 rankers together with Huang Shatian. Most probably, the fallen Devil Emperor also wanted this. It was the old Xia Devil King who forcefully interfered, wanting the fallen Devil Emperor to give him face, resulting in the current situation. And now, he caused the fallen Devil Emperor to compromise to a junior for him. If it wasn't for the fact that the old Xia Devil King was a close friend of the Devil Emperor, he would have long been abandoned. These people seemed to have forgotten the situation back then. When the old Xia Devil King suggested it, no one objected. When the Vast Sky Devil Emperor said it, everyone pretended not to know. But now, all of them were blaming the old Xia Devil King. One could only say that the affairs of the world are ever-changing. Qin Wentian brought the Vast Sky Devil Emperor here, his status instantly changed, causing their thoughts to change as well. Senior Fallen Devil Emperor, right now, I'm looking for the old Xia Devil King for revenge. Qin Wentian domineeringly replied, not being too polite at all. Without strength and background, what was the use of being polite? If not for the Vast Sky Devil Emperor standing behind him, he would have long been slapped to death. In the future, without the support of the Vast Sky Devil Emperor, he would also die. Hence, there was no need for him to be polite. If you still have guts, tell Xia Yuan to come out and fight with me or just commit suicide. If not, if the 2 Devil Emperors start a war, not only would you die, you would also be accused of being weak and useless. Qin Wentian continued. The old face of the old Xia Devil King turned red, he stared fixedly at Qin Wentian, wanting nothing more than to kill Qin Wentian here right now. Old Xia Yuan is the strongest character on the devil rankings. Also, you also think that he is stronger than Qin Wentian and should be able to fight against him. This young man is too arrogant, just let Xia Yuan act and kill him. At this moment, a Devil King suddenly spoke. He was a protector of the Vast Sky Devil Emperor and his strength was extremely shocking. At this moment, he suddenly spoke. Although his words were tactful, in truth, he didn't mind offending the old Xia Devil King. But for the sake of the Devil Emperor, he couldn't care too much. As a protector, he naturally knew how strong the Vast Sky Devil Emperor was. If a war really broke out, the chances of the fallen Devil Emperor being defeated was extremely high. If that was the case, it would be a calamity to the fallen Devil Island. Qin Wendian and the vast Sky Devil Emperor came in a domineering manner, but they didn't start a war directly. Instead, they pursued the old Xia Devil King. Evidently, they didn't want to completely tear apart all pretense of cordiality and needed a place to ease the tension. Sacrificing the old Xia Devil King was a buffer. The eyes of the Devil Emperor flashed, filled with unhappiness. However, his subordinates were doing this for the sake of the bigger picture. It wasn't good for him to scold them. No one could blame themselves for thinking that a mere junior would have such capabilities and boldness, able to invite a Devil Emperor to lead an army here. Old Xia Yuan should fight for glory for our fallen Devil Island. Another protector spoke. At this moment, other than the Devil Emperor, only they had the qualifications to speak. Let Xia Yuan come out and fight. At this moment, the fallen Devil Emperor suddenly spoke, his words causing the gazes of everyone to turn heavy. As for the old Xia Devil King, his heart sank even further as he felt his entire body turning cold. Just nice, I haven't met the vast Sky Devil Emperor for many years and I wish to spar with him as well. The fallen Devil Emperor spoke, his words causing the old Xia Devil King to stare in shock at his old friend. He knew that this was the best solution his old friend could think of. If the fallen Devil Emperor could win against the vast Sky Devil Emperor, it wouldn't matter if Xia Yuan won or lost. On the other hand, if the fallen Devil Emperor was defeated, he, the old Xia Devil King, who had been domineering his entire life, would die for sure today. No one would be able to save him. Sure. The vast Sky Devil Emperor calmly replied. Being able to spar with someone on the same level as him was a rare opportunity. Since he came to the Fallen Devil region today, he originally wanted to find the Fallen Devil Emperor to spar with him. Since the Fallen Devil Emperor himself suggested this, it was perfect. Xia Yuan. The old Xia Devil King called out. From below, a figure soared up into the air. This figure was none other than Xia Yuan of the Devil Rancor. He had heard the conversation earlier and his expression couldn't help but be complicated as he stared at Qin Wendian. This young man who gave him a huge impact back then on the battlefield actually brought an army here and threatened his old ancestor to commit suicide. Such a thing, if it was during the birthday celebration of the Devil Emperor, who would dare to think of it? A Devil Foundation expert actually forced a Devil King to commit suicide? In addition, this Devil King was a good friend of the Qin Wendian Devil Emperor. Just because of the birthday celebration, he treated Qin Wendian unfairly. Vast Sky Devil Emperor, please. The fallen Devil Emperor's figure flashed as he soared up into the clouds. A battle between emperors had to be fought in the air or the shockwaves from the battle would definitely destroy everything. The vast Sky Devil Emperor's silhouette trembled and he also soared up into the air. An instant later, when everyone inclined their heads, they saw two godlike figures appearing in the air. Boundless devilish light radiated from their bodies, and in the boundless starry skies, the light from the constellations cascaded down, bathing their godlike bodies. The radiance of the constellations illuminated the heavens and earth. Everyone knew that the two of them were already extremely high up in the air, but their figures were still as clear as ever. At this moment, on the fallen Devil Island, countless people inclined their heads and stared at the two figures in the air as their hearts pounded madly. That expert was actually the fallen Devil Emperor. The Devil Emperor personally accepted the challenge. Who was his opponent? On the fallen Devil Island, Emperor-ranked battle. The two Devil Emperors acted. The fallen Devil Emperor blasted out with his Devil Palm. With just a single strike, it seemed to cover the entire sky. That palm was like a pitch-black screen, capable of crushing everything. It was like a long river of the Devil Tao, enveloping the entire sky. Boom! A supreme devil light erupted forth from the body of the vast Sky Devil Emperor. Under the might of this light, everything shattered. That gigantic devil palm imprint that could collapse the heavens started to crumble inch by inch. It was as though the heavens were about to explode as the destruction continued. Qin Wendian glanced up at the sky before turning his gaze onto Xia Yuan. It's about time for our battle to begin. Xia Yuan stepped out with an ashen expression. If he wanted to fight against Qin Wendian, he naturally didn't have the confidence. He fought against Huang Shatian before and knew how terrifying that fellow was. Also, Qin Wendian was someone who could stand equally against Huang Shatian. A heaven-shaking tremor rang out in the air. Despite being extremely far away, the people below were still trembling. Xia Yuan's body was trembling as well. His aura erupted forth, but there wasn't much confidence in his eyes. He hasn't used any secret arts yet. Let's take him by surprise and kill him by borrowing the power of a devil weapon. The old Xia Devil King transmitted his voice to Xia Yuan. His countenance was incomparably sinister, flickering with killing intent. If Qin Wendian died, the vast Sky Devil Emperor would have nothing to say, right? Xia Yuan moved towards Qin Wendian. Devil might gushed forth as a gigantic devil saber manifested, slashing down towards Qin Wendian. Bzz. Qin Wendian stretched out his palm as God's hand appeared, shining with a startling light. In fact, there were even ancient runes revolving around it, exuding an unexcelled aura. At the instant the saber light landed, Qin Wendian lifted his palm, wanting to destroy everything. God's hand shone with a divine glow, penetrating through space and appearing before Xia Yuan. His cultivation base. Xia Yuan's countenance turned pale. God's hand instantly crushed down, ignoring everything. The divine glow circulated, destroying everything. There was no time for Qin Wendian to react. Xia Yuan roared in rage. Devil light towered up into the sky as he slashed out countless saber beams. Thunderous booms shook the heavens and earth, shattering everything. Qin Wendian stepped out and sent out another God's hand. With a deafening boom, Xia Yuan was flung through the air as he coughed out fresh blood. He couldn't even withstand a single strike. However, Qin Wendian didn't stop there. Another palm imprint blasted out. Xia Yuan screamed in agony as he was sent flying through the air. Old Xia Devil King, is this the person you chose to place before me? Qin Wendian coldly spoke as he stared at the old Xia Devil King. They weren't on the same level at all. The old Xia Devil King turned ashen, like he was slapped by Qin Wendian. He inclined his head and stared at the sky. The terrifying Emperor-ranked battle was still ongoing. The vast Sky Devil Emperor borrowed the power of his divine axe to slash through everything. The entire space was filled with divine axes, wanting to destroy everything. Vast Sky Divine Axe. Below, the protectors of the fallen Devil Emperor all had ugly expressions on their faces. They then spoke to the old Xia Devil King, "Old Xia, just commit suicide." The expression of the old Xia Devil King was extremely ugly to behold. He naturally could tell that his old friend, the fallen Devil Emperor, was currently at a disadvantage and was surrounded by the violent attacks of the vast Sky Devil Emperor. He, the lofty Xia Devil King, committing suicide. Boom! The old Xia Devil King suddenly moved, rushing towards Qin Wendian. But at the same time, beams of devil light enveloped Qin Wendian. The Devil Kings under the vast Sky Devil Emperor acted, instantly enveloping Qin Wendian within. At the same time, the protectors under the fallen Devil Emperor also acted, directly launching attacks at the old Xia Devil King. You guys! The old Xia Devil King roared in rage. In the front, there were the attacks of the vast Sky Devil Emperor, and behind him, the protectors of the fallen Devil Emperor acted. He had no way out. All the Devil Kings joined forces and even included his own people. How could the old Xia Devil King defend against them? Attacks that blotted out the sky, and with just a single strike, a thunderous boom rang out. The old Xia Devil King screamed in misery as he coughed out fresh blood. From afar, when the spectators saw this scene, all of them felt incomparably shocked in their hearts. Even the protectors of the fallen Devil Emperor acted against the old Xia Devil King. Would he still be able to survive? Because of his bias during the birthday celebration, the old Xia Devil King actually had to die here. How ridiculous did this sound? Chapter 1285. The old Xia Devil King didn't die unjustly. It was just that he underestimated Qin Wentian's methods and his determination. A Devil King protector spoke. After that, several Devil Kings acted at the same time. The vast Sky Devil Emperor's Devil Kings sealed off old Xia's path of retreat. The old Xia Devil King's maniacal laughter shook the heavens and earth as he rushed towards the four protectors. A fearsome devil light radiated from him. He had dominated his entire life and was a good friend of the Devil Emperor. Today, he was actually going to become a sacrifice for a junior? Yes. The experts nodded. After that, they flew down, actually intending to station the Devil Army beside the Emperor Palace. The eyes of the crowd below flickered. Two Devil Emperors, two armies, most probably in the future, there would be frequent conflicts. Qin Wentian frowned. It wasn't an easy thing to make a Devil Emperor compromise. Old Xia. The fallen Devil Emperor in the air roared. The earth-shattering sound of their collision shook the heavens and earth. After that, the crowd only saw a beam of light piercing through the sky. After that, they saw the fallen Devil Emperor and the vast Sky Devil Emperor descending from the sky. Senior Devil Emperor, no matter if you agree or not, let me make this clear first. If there are any more Devil Kings who dare to send news to Huang Shatian, I will definitely kill them. Qin Wendian coldly spoke. Even if the fallen Devil Emperor temporarily didn't send news to him, he wouldn't allow anyone to send news to Huang Shatian. In the crowd below, Old Chai stared at the battle in the air as he sighed ruefully in his heart. Luckily, he didn't offend Qin Wendian to the extreme back then, or things would have been very tragic. How could Qin Wendian and Huang Shatian be so monstrous? Where's Huang Shatian? Qin Wendian asked. From the looks of it, you came here today not only to kill my old friend, right? What else do you want? The fallen Devil Emperor's eyes were like sharp swords as he stared at Qin Wendian. Ha ha ha, you want to sacrifice the life of me? The old Xia Devil King laughed loudly, his long hair fluttering in the wind. The old Xia Devil King coughed, coughing out more blood. He was on the verge of death. He inclined his head and stared at the two Devil Emperors fighting in the air as he roared in rage, I'm unwilling to accept this. Turning his body with difficulty, the old Xia Devil King stared at Qin Wendian. That young man stood in the air, coldly staring at him. Senior must be joking. If it wasn't for the fact that I was forced into a corner, Junior wouldn't have reached this step. The decision made by the old Xia Devil King back then was simply too important to me. In addition, he sent people to hunt me down. Maybe my life isn't worth anything in Senior's eyes, but even a minor character would have the backbone of a minor character. I naturally have to take revenge. Qin Wendian calmly spoke. The eyes of the fallen Devil Emperor turned sharp, but he knew that Qin Wendian was speaking the truth. Since Elder Xia is unwilling to do it yourself, we can only offend you. Old Xia, back then you influenced the decision of the Devil Emperor. Lord Devil Emperor treated you as a good friend, and that's why he gave in to you. Now that things have developed to such a state, in order to prevent a war between the two devil regions, Old Xia, you have to give us an explanation. The Devil King Protector spoke. It was already a fact that the vast Sky Devil Emperor was stronger than the fallen Devil Emperor. Boom! Another destructive attack directly penetrated through his body, causing him to tremble violently as fresh blood gushed out. His eyes gradually dimmed, resembling an old man at the end of his life. What if I don't agree? The eyes of the fallen Devil Emperor were cold. The battle in the air clearly illustrated this point. In that case, once the two devil regions started a war, it wouldn't just be one or two devil kings who would die. The entire Emperor Palace would be destroyed. There's news from the Devil Islands below. They found a few people and Huang Shatian went over. The Devil Emperor calmly spoke, his words causing Qin Wendian's expression to stiffen, becoming incomparably unsightly to behold. Are you guys rebelling? The old Xia Devil King roared. The 4 devil kings under the fallen devil emperor, including the devil kings under the vast sky devil emperor, were all surrounding him. Terrifying devil might enveloped him, making it hard for him to escape even if he grew wings. This world is changing too quickly. Many people sighed in their hearts. From afar, many people rushed over here to spectate the battle. When they saw Qin Wendian leading an army, they were all speechless in their hearts. Once the fallen devil emperor gave it his all, it wouldn't be a problem for him to leave. In that case, his devil islands would also be in danger. Hence, it was impossible for him to agree to Qin Wendian's request to kill the fallen devil emperor. His old friend of many years died just like that. In addition, it was his subordinate who acted. However, how could he hate his subordinates? He knew that his subordinates were thinking of the bigger picture, thinking of him. The devil kings under the devil emperor naturally had to do their best for the devil emperor, even if they might be blamed by the devil emperor. In that case, my army will be stationed here then. The vast sky devil emperor calmly spoke. In that exchange earlier, he had the upper hand. His strength was stronger than the fallen devil emperor, but it was still impossible for him to kill the fallen devil emperor. Roars of unwillingness rang through the air, causing the bodies of countless people to turn cold. This young man at the devil emperor's birthday banquet was too terrifying. Because of the unfair treatment and pursuit during the birthday banquet, no one knew what methods he used, but he actually managed to find a devil emperor from another devil region to back him up. The person Huang Shatian is looking for, I hope the fallen devil emperor can send me all the news you receive in the future. Qin Wendian spoke. The fallen devil emperor didn't bother about Qin Wendian. The vast sky devil emperor laughed, station the army here. 4 devil kings surrounded the old Xia devil king. No matter how strong the old Xia devil king was, it was useless. He risked his life to injure 2 of his protectors, but he himself suffered a fatal blow. His internal organs were all shattered as he coughed out fresh blood, his countenance as pale as paper. In addition, the old Xia devil king just launched a sneak attack on Qin Wendian earlier. Since Qin Wendian could bring the vast sky devil emperor's army here, their relationship definitely wasn't shallow. Once Qin Wendian died, the vast sky devil emperor would surely be enraged and the consequences would be unimaginable. The old Xia devil king had to die no matter what. I don't dare to. Junior pleads senior devil emperor. Qin Wendian politely spoke. Old Xia devil king, you say I'm arrogant. Don't you know that you're going to die because of your arrogance, At the birthday banquet of the devil emperor, you were in high spirits, borrowing the identity of a good friend of the devil emperor to guide the world. At that time, did you ever imagine that there would be a day like this? You sent people to hunt me down. I'm sure you thought that since I'm a junior, it doesn't matter if you kill me. The you at that time, did you ever think of this moment? Qin Wendian's eyes were cold. Are you ordering me? The fallen devil emperor coldly laughed. As for how he would do it, it would depend on Qin Wendian's capabilities. You are very good. The fallen devil emperor turned his gaze onto Qin Wendian. From his perspective, Qin Wendian was insignificant. But since Qin Wendian was being hunted down, he naturally wanted revenge. He also found a method to do so. Hence, he killed his way here. Below, Xia Yuan's countenance turned pale. What was going on? Huang Shatian was already sufficiently monstrous. Now, this Qin Wendian wanted to stir up a storm as well. In addition, this storm was even more violent compared to Huang Shatian. Black clouds pressed down, wanting to crush the Emperor Palace. Back then, Qin Wendian was merely a junior with talent. So what if they treated him unfairly? With the identity of the old Xia Devil King, no one would dare to say anything. But now, Qin Wendian brought a Devil Emperor and an army here. Things were different. Since the situation had changed, they could only sacrifice the old Xia Devil King. If a war broke out, all of them would be in danger of dying. Who wouldn't consider things from their perspective? Everything, benefits were the most important. Up to you all. The fallen devil emperor carried the body of the old Xia devil king as he walked towards the emperor palace. The devil kings behind him all followed him. The eyes of the vast sky devil emperor flashed. He turned his gaze to Qin Wentian and laughed. Seems like the death of that devil king has angered him. This won't be easy to handle. The fallen devil emperor and old Xia devil king were good friends. Since they had no way to act, they had to step out and be the villain. That fellow from the immortal realms, you are so brazen in the myriad devil islands. You will definitely die a horrible death. Old Xia devil king viciously cursed. The body of the fallen devil emperor descended before old Xia devil king, hugging his corpse as his heart was filled with complicated emotions. If the person they found was him alone, there was no doubt that he would face the threat of death. No one would be able to deal with Huang Shatian, even if they had powerful treasures. Back then, Huang Shatian had unleashed his treasures on the battlefield once. That kind of power caused Qin Wentian to feel fear in his heart. Most probably, that was the inheritance treasure of the 9 emperors' immortal state. At that time, he already felt that only the treasures he had on him would be able to contend against that supreme divine weapon. I, Xia Devil, have roamed unhindered my entire life. But today, I actually died because of a Devil Foundation brat. How ridiculous, how ridiculous. The old Xia Devil King roared with reluctance. He was truly unwilling. He had already said that he came here to support Qin Wentian. For this, someone had to give him an explanation. You are about to die yet you still dare to boast shamelessly. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with sorrow. In the immortal realms, there are even immortal emperors who want to kill me. You are just a devil king who borrowed the prestige of others, yet you are still so arrogant. How ridiculous. Back then, you, old Xia devil king, must have offended many people. After your death, I'm afraid your clan won't be able to live in peace. They will pay the price for what you have done. Don't you feel any sorrow in your heart? The battle shook the heavens and earth, boundless light enveloped this space. The people of the vast sky devil emperor sealed this space, preventing the shockwaves from the battle. The people from afar all felt their hearts trembling. Not only because of the emperor-ranked battle, but also because of the protectors who surrounded old Xia devil king. After speaking, he slammed his palm onto his head. As Xia devil king, even if he died, he had to die with dignity and dignity. He didn't want to be killed. The devil kings under the fallen devil emperor didn't say anything, they didn't interfere nor did they stop him. Since the protectors acted, there was no need for them to interfere in case the fallen devil emperor would blame them. It was best if they didn't offend anyone. As for helping the old Xia devil king, they naturally wouldn't do so. Ha ha ha, you are just a junior, an ant-like character in front of me. You actually have the qualifications to lecture me? The old Xia devil king laughed maniacally.